There we go. All right, everybody. Man, every time we try to start the show, OBS is just freezing, but it's okay because we're here and we love you. So we got big news. Donald Trump has been increasingly pushing rhetoric around ending all income tax. And it's one thing for Trump to go to a rally or to go to an event and say, you know, things were a lot better when we didn't have an income tax. But the New York Times says that Donald Trump is flirting with the ultimate idea, ending all income tax. In fact, NBC has already stated that Donald Trump's policies could exempt 93 million Americans from all income tax. So I'm just sitting here being like, I can only vote for the guy one time. You don't need to sell me on him anymore. So we'll talk about that because it is kind of an extreme position that I'm sure a lot of libertarians are now deciding to vote for Trump over. But we also have the Kamala Harris town hall on CNN, which has to have been the worst town hall ever done by a candidate in history. And I mean, anywhere at any point. We're going to play clips. But it was so bad. The Washington Post is saying it was bad. And CNN panelists were saying it was bad. I got to tell you, when you have a CNN panelist being like, well, Kamala was just spewing word salad. What was that? Yeah, it was really bad. And then, of course, we'll talk about how the odds are starting to line up. And ladies and gentlemen, well, this may come as no surprise to you, but a survival community is calling in its members to spend the election week in their survival camps because of fear of what may actually happen. Not that the world's going to end. We don't know for sure. But The Independent has stated the Civil War has already begun. Yeah. OK, we've heard it. The corporate press keeps saying the Civil War has already started. Hey, don't look at me. I've only ever said I think we're on track for one. Now the media is actually saying we're in one. When you look at how the election is being held, one believing in you can vote whenever you want, even after the election day, and one believing in a constitution, certainly seems like we have two completely different countries. But we'll talk about all that. Before we do, my friends, head over to mypillow.com/Tim to buy pillow. Once again, MyPillow has been canceled by another box store, so they're passing an incredible offer to our listeners. The standard MyPillow retails for $49.98, and now for a limited time, you'll receive one for only $14.98. There's a limit of 10 in this offer. Don't miss out on the amazing deal while supplies last. Order now using promo code TIM. There are no other promo codes. If you've heard otherwise, it's not true. It's only one, promo code TIM. MyPillow is made with patented adjustable fill. It adjusts to your exact individual needs, regardless of your sleep position. Helps keep your neck aligned and holds its shape all night long, so you get the best sleep of your life. But that's not all. Get their 6-piece kitchen or bath towel sets for only $25. The brand new mattress topper as low as $69.98, and their famous MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $25, and so much more. So go to mypillow.com/Tim or just use promo code Tim. You get a huge discount on all their products, including the standard MyPillow. Shout out to Mike Lindell. We're big fans, and we appreciate you guys sponsoring the show. And pillows are amazing. You should get one. Also, don't forget Cast Brew Coffee, because if you need coffee, Cast Brew is the best. Everyone agrees. At least that's what I've been told. Appalachian Nights is my favorite. Every morning, I take a double shot of Appalachian Nights. I grind it, make espresso with it. That's just me. And then I put it in my protein shake. That's how I do it. But maybe you like Ian's Graphene Dream, which has Ian who is enlightened with his energy bursting from his chest as he gives you his dream. But there's a low acidity coffee, so a lot of people say it's actually really nice on their stomachs. Check that out. And also head over to timcast.com. Click join us or sign up. We have a TV app. Excuse me. For those that want to watch on their TV, you can download the Timcast app on the TV. And you could also go to timcast.com, click join us, become a member, because we need your support as members to make the company function. As a member, you get access to our members only show, which will be coming up tonight at 10 p.m. Not so family friendly, always funny. And you get access to our Discord server. What is that? It's like a chat room for like-minded individuals. There are a lot of people in there. And so if you're looking for a place to hang out with people, meet new people, talk about these ideas, you got to become a member at timcast.com. And tomorrow at 11 a.m., we have an exclusive members-only video exposing Josh Seiter, who we filmed behind the scenes with him as he unveiled his social experiment where he pretended to be trans to expose the hypocrisy of the left, he says. So again, timcast.com. But don't forget to smash that like button right now. Share the show with everyone you know. And leave us a good review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is you get your podcast. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is a man of great emotional intelligence, Danny Polishchuk.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Who are you?
I'm very good. Very good. Exciting.
Who are you?
Oh, who am I? I'm a comedian. Co-host of the Boyscast, host of a podcast called Low Value Mail, a call-in show, and just an all-around comedy guy.
Of high emotional intelligence.
Of high emotional intelligence, of course. Yes, very emotionally intelligent.
I got your first answer when he asked you who you are, and you said, I am very good.
I thought he said, how are you?
That's very good.
I'm not the other kind of intelligence. The smart kind.
The right one.
The right one. Yeah. Not the guy kind.
Oh, yeah.
You're one of the more emotionally intelligent people I know.
The wife disagrees.
Okay.
Well, Ian's here.
As
Brad.
it should be.
Good to see you guys. Ian Crossland here. I am a loyalist to the democratic process. Happy to be in the house.
I thought I was going to say party for a second. I was getting worried.
No,
I'm a loyalist
no
to
sycophants in this house.
Oh, yeah. Danny's got his Kamala Harris Madam President shirt
My
on.
Master P.
Master P.
What's up, Phil?
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. So let's get into it.
Here we go. I can't believe. Look, so Kamala Harris did this town hall, and it was extremely bad. But the New York Times has run this headline, so we have to lead with it. Trump flirts with the ultimate tax cut, no income taxes at all. Woo. The former president has repeatedly praised a period in American history when there was no income tax and the country relied on tariffs to fund the government. I love this because we're 12 days out from the election day. Votes are coming in right now. Republicans, I think, in North Carolina have already taken the lead in absentee ballot returns, which indicates they're winning and likely going to win the state. And the New York Times is like, what can we do to make sure that everyone everywhere votes for Donald Trump? And they said, let's say that Donald Trump wants to eliminate the income tax. And that's what they wrote. You've got this also from CNBC.com. Trump tax plan could exempt 93 million Americans from income taxes. Okay, I can only vote for the guy one time. You don't need to sell me on voting for him again. But is there anyone in this room who would be opposed to eliminating the income tax?
No, not looking good for Chase Oliver though. That just sunk his campaign.
When you get out libertarian by Donald
Yeah,
Trump.
Chase Oliver's banging the table right now. Be like, what?
That's the
My thing.
My thing.
I would not say no to this. I just am wondering how it's going to work.
I don't think it will.
Oh, I knew Ian was going to be like, I like the income tax.
Yeah, we
Oh, he said yes.
No, I like, but like Phil said, it would make the government recalibrate and stop spending so much because they'd have to take.
If they don't have the Federal Reserve and the income tax to manage inflation, because that's all the income tax is for. The idea that people have in their head that we take tax money in to pay for things, that's completely wrong. When the government wants, because the government has the printer and the Federal Reserve prints money for us, the income tax is just a means of taking money out of the system to help control inflation. There's two ways that they control inflation: taxation and by changing the interest rate. So if they print too much money, they just raise taxes to take the money out of the system. If you take away their ability to print money endlessly, then you have to end the foreign wars, the foreign expansionism, all of the times that the government decides we're going to put this policy into place, which essentially is a way to buy people's any kind of service that they offer. So free healthcare, we're going to give college students money. We're going to do all this. All of this is buying votes. It's the government saying we're going to give you this, and the hope is this special interest group, they will go ahead and they'll vote for us. And that's what the government does. They print money, give it to people, hoping that they'll vote for whichever person implemented the thing. So it takes that power away, and it'll make the government, hopefully, in theory, it'll make the government more accountable to a more restrained economic policy.
It also incentivizes international trade, which I think is very interesting.
But this is getting offset with the tariffs, from what I understand.
Yes.
He's like, we're going to be charging all these tariffs. But like I looked it up before, there's probably there's tens of millions of Americans who don't pay any income tax because they fall under the threshold.
Yep.
And the tariffs are going to increase the cost of everything they buy. So unless Trump,
It's not going to increase the cost of everything.
anything that has a tariff on it, unless Trump can
Imported
negotiate
products.
with the, what's that?
Imported products.
And
Imported
also,
products, but
there are currently
So your milk, bread, and eggs are fine.
well, there'll be a temporary period where you have to start firing up factories in this country to make the things that
so that will improve the economy.
There are-
Wages will
in the
go
long
up.
run, but there will be a tremendous amount of pain short term.
there would be
would be my guess anyway.
stuff that has to be sorted out. But if you have like things that are produced in the United States, prices would ostensibly go down. You would have you would have companies incentivized to produce things here in the U.S. as opposed to sending them overseas. And currently, there's tariffs and stuff on any number of products. It's not that like there's no tariffs or anything that are.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff, and you can negotiate, right?
Yeah.
Like
so
with
it's
other
not
countries.
like oh, we're going to get rid of income tax and there's no tariffs and we're going to put tariffs on everything and then everything is going to change. There's already tariffs. It's not like it's some brand new thing that we don't have.
No, Trump invented it.
But I mean, there's already tariffs. So as much as there are going to be people that are going to be affected by it, and it's going to cause distortions in the market, and there's going to be things that have to kind of settle down. If it is implemented, it's not like it's not like it'll be something that we don't have experience with, because there are tariffs here.
Yeah.
And right now there's, what did you say? There's how many people that don't pay?
I think I read that 60 million people paid less than 1.5% income tax, which is essentially
those
zero.
people don't pay any kind of net income tax either, because they get that money.
Yeah,
back
that's what
and
I'm
they get
saying.
Benefits.
Yeah,
so there's probably I think it's less than 50% of the people.
40% of U.S. households do not pay income tax in these United States.
There you go. So that's a lot of people where you're like, I mean, a lot of items will go up in price, like especially
Like, which ones?
anything that has an like if he says I'm going to slap a tariff on aluminum or steel, right? Anything that's made with aluminum or steel, the price.
But that's saying we don't source aluminum or steel in our own country.
Yeah, and part of
the purpose of the tariff is so that we bring those jobs back.
No,
here.
I understand that. I'm saying you can't do that like snap a finger. Like you could say in 10 years from now, we'll have that all set up, but I don't think you can do that.
I understand your point.
But they can also just print a bunch of money.
But he's not running it. So you know what he should do? Just his first year, he should just do it, and then we'll have a little dip, and then it'll spike.
Or
back
like
up
do it
right
over a 5-year period where every year there's a reduction and then it scales.
Plus, he's
up
not
as
trying to
the
be
factories
president
get
again.
pumped.
So
Right. So he's going to come in and be like, "No, I'm
so
fixing
hate
this."
me. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know that he could handle being hated, though. That's why. But for real, he puts his name in gold letters on the top of buildings.
I mean, I was saying this to you before. Like, obviously, I'm not from America. I followed American politics, but I don't ever remember.
I don't think it's
leading
obvious you're
up
not
to an election like this close, where all these people are just tabling all these crazy ideas
It's
that
so
they
great.
had not said before.
Remember when? So Trump is like, "No tax on tips," and then Kamala goes, "No tax on tips," and then Trump's like, "No tax on Social Security," and she's like, "I'll forgive all of your debt." Then JD Vance is like $5,000 tax credit per child, and she goes $6,000 tax credit.
It's like an
per child.
auction.
And then Trump is like, "No more taxes."
That's crazy, though.
It's like
I
an
mean, look,
auction.
from what I recall, it used to be like, this is my platform. This is what I'm running on, and we're going to take this to the end.
Conceptually,
I'm stoked. I hope Kamala goes nuts.
She
and
has
says,
to.
We're going to get rid of all taxes and give you from the government coffers. And then Trump is just like, we're going to completely dismantle government. Everyone's fired. And then I vacate the presidency. There's no politicians left.
Yeah. I mean, she's literally like, no taxes, and he's Hitler.
You know,
And then next week, he's Mussolini, too.
but what's funny is the direction they're going is basically they are competing with dismantling government.
Yeah.
yes, this is a
this is what
win-win for
people
the
want.
this is a win-win for the American population.
The libertarians are doing the Randy Marsh meme at the computer.
I think
true.
Angela McArdle is secretly orchestrating everything that's going on.
I mean, he's going to put a libertarian in the cabinet somewhere, which would be wonderful. The idea that he wants to get rid of the bureaucracy, that he's going to cut back in the bureaucracy is great. If you could actually get significant real cuts in cabinet level bureaucracies, that would be tremendous. You know, I mean, I want small government. I want it as small as we can get it. So if they're going to cut cabinet level bureaucracies down to size and roll back the administrative state, and that's one of the things that Elon Musk is talking about, because part of the problem that SpaceX is running into, it's like they had to do, did you see the seal thing they had to do?
Oh, yeah, we have to like kidnap seals and then
Yes.
blast loud
They had to-
noises on them.
They had to kidnap seals and put earphones on them and simulate sonic booms to see if it would affect them. So that way they could get the approval from the FAA to shoot rockets.
The best part is it did not affect the seal. And apparently the seal just sat there confused, and its heart rate did not elevate or anything. It was just like nothing happened.
But one of the things that Musk has been saying is like, look, we're never going to be a society or a civilization that can reach Mars if we have to have all of these regulations. One of the things that Musk has caught hell for is that people used to make fun of him because all his rockets would explode. But he was going on 5 different iterations of the rockets, and he would learn from each one that blew up. So the first few of them would blow up, but then the third one would go, and then it would have a small problem, but it wouldn't be a RUD, right? It would wrap it on a RUD.
Now he's catching them with the chopsticks.
Yeah, but the point is, like, Boeing has done almost nothing to talk about. They're so slow, and that's because they're not taking big risks, and they're not pushing the way that Musk is. One of the things that Musk wants is he's like, look, I need the federal government to take the shackles off so I can experiment and I can push push the technology as far and as fast as it can. And I personally think that part of the reason why you had massive innovation in the United States leading up until about the 70s, right? We had significant innovation from basically the beginning of the Industrial Revolution until about the 70s or 80s, is because the administrative state and the bureaucracy and the regulations were significantly less than they are now, and people were allowed to try things and make mistakes.
I'm just thinking how funny it is that there's like some alien and he's complaining to his customers like, look, the government is making me abduct these guys and stick probes up their ass. We don't want to do it, but they make us do it to simulate anti-gravity.
And then we're doing it to the SEALs. It's
Exactly.
basically the same stuff.
I'm thinking about
like you're a SEAL minding your own business and with your homies, and then like a crane grabs you out of the water and you're like, what's happening?
Headphones.
And when you come back, like nobody believes you.
Yeah, you're like, they made me listen to just loud noises. I don't really
What
get
are you
it.
talking about?
grows
This
a
makes no
beard.
sense.
The income tax thing, though, too, is, with the national or the debt like constantly increasing and the cost to service it, like the taxes can't go any higher, right?
Well,
Like
yeah, they can.
You think they can go much above 50%?
There are people. Well, first of all,
They're basically above it. They're literally
But I'm saying,
above
do you
50.
think there's really that much margin?
there was a
for them to go
time.
higher?
There was a time in the 50s, between the 50s and like the 80s, when the top marginal tax rate was like 90%. Now nobody,
90? Really?
nobody paid it. Like there was tons of ways for you to get out of or get around it, and that's what ends up happening. But the Laffer curve says that there's a certain amount of taxation that you can do, and everything before that you get diminished returns.
And don't forget, income. What's you're Canadian? What's your income tax in Canada?
I mean, it's
Like
in Ontario, it was about the same as what I pay in New York City, which is like close to
Half.
yeah.
So don't forget, you've also got sales tax.
Yep.
So now add another percentage to everything you buy. It says $1. It's $1.10 now. Then you've got property taxes. Then you've got gas taxes. So all in all, you're probably spending 60-70% of your income in taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. But I'm just saying, like, eventually they're going to get to the point where the income tax is just going to cover the debt, like the debt repayments.
Yeah.
On
The interest.
Just the interest. Yeah.
Oh, dude, we're facing collapse because the U.S. government is barely able to cover the interest on the debt they owe. So the U.S. government basically most of the debt is owed to the American people. The U.S. government says, we need to implement a project, so we're going to accrue a bunch of debt from various companies, individuals, contracts, bonds, etc. And then they have to tax everybody to try and pay it back after. They're basically just saying, I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yeah.
And eventually it's like, bro, your debt sheet is like 50 hamburgers. And it's like, just need more people to come in that I can tax a hamburger from to pay you back.
I mean, it's crazy.
So they open the border, let everybody come in so they can desperately increase the tax base.
Yeah, and lower wages, I guess. I don't know. It seems to go up, what? It's like $1 trillion a month or something right now?
Right now, the debt is $1 trillion, is increasing $1 trillion a year.
$1 trillion a year.
Yeah.
But it's going up. It's increasing faster.
Insane.
Because
It'll be fun to see how this escalation continues. Hopefully, Kamala Harris comes out and vows to abolish all taxes and to give us money back. Yeah, that's right, your girl. But let's jump to the story from the Washington Post. It was frustrating to watch 3 columnists on Harris's CNN town hall. Harris's town hall gave her a last-minute chance to reach undecided voters. How did she do? Well, it's the Betteridge's Laws of Headline states that if a headline ends with a question, the answer is usually no. But if the question is, how did she do? The assumption would be the negative, poorly, because they wouldn't need to ask if they have reason to believe she did well. We'll jump back to this, but I need to only show you this one segment that was posted by Dave Portnoy so you can understand exactly how Kamala Harris did. I'm sorry that you have to listen to this, but knowing is half the battle.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life or in your life in the last 4 years, that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
So I want to just okay, so you're probably thinking the first thing you thought was probably, what?
Well, it's one of those trap interview questions. You know?
Oh, yeah.
When you go, like, what are your weaknesses? You're like, if anything, I work too hard.
Yeah. Well, actually, the Trump campaign posted the Michael Scott thing where he's like, my weaknesses are actually strengths. Some say I work too hard.
Yeah.
But notice what she did. I actually want to give her credit for this. Listen to this last portion.
And I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well-versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
You see what she did there? He asks her a question she can't answer. She stumbles through it for 30 seconds and then realizes, as she can't answer it, it's a mistake. She did not prepare for this question. And then literally says to her at the end, it is a mistake to not prepare for a question and be forced to be compelled to answer.
And how can you not name one mistake you made?
Name one right
Afghanistan? Hello?
Name one mistake you've made right now, Danny.
I don't make mistakes.
You bought the shirt.
No, this is the best $20 I ever spent.
Get out of-
Washington, D.C. train station.
Just get out
upstairs
of jail
kiosk.
free card.
Okay,
Body
wait.
language experts love criticizing this woman. Like when she starts to answer the question, she's like, yeah, I made yeah. And she's shaking her head, no. But she's saying yes. That's how she starts it. She's just like a two-faced kind of...
That was a really great example of her literally saying nothing but words were coming out of her mouth.
It happened
Now
multiple times.
listen to this one. Here we go.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
Okay, I'm going to pause real quick just to say his question was 5 parts.
Yeah.
It's pretty hefty. But how many are being let in? Are they going to receive benefits? What are those benefits? Who's going to pay for them? Are they going to be assimilated? Now listen to this answer.
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person in this race among the 2 choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country. And as my opponent has proven himself, he would prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem.
I love this. I do want to highlight one quick thing in the beginning real quick. Just one more time.
America's immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border.
What we need to do is to always prioritize what we need to do. Did you hear that? What we need to do is to always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border, which would be, lady. Okay, Danny. I'm gonna give you. I want to break this down for the layman. Ask me a tough question.
What are you going to do with the spiraling national debt?
I like yerba mate. It's a delicious drink. That right there looks like you have orange exuberance. It's delicious, isn't it? It's almost like an ecto cooler, but with more caffeine. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
I feel bad. Look at this kid's face. Hey, pull this kid's face up again. That face is exactly how I feel when I hear her words coming out of her mouth while she's not saying anything.
Yeah, she answers questions like when you get in trouble by your girl and you're trying to be like just the most evasive, just... She gives the weave. Trump says he does the weave. She's doing the real weave.
This face is so good. You know what he's thinking, too. It's like she's literally not answering any question that
He's like, why am I here? Why did I come here?
So this is the state of the Democrats. And look at this, Washington Post. The candidate's closing argument is a cliche, blah, blah, blah. Matt Bai says, we've seen plenty of strange firsts in this campaign, but I was still struck at hearing a nominee for president call her opponent a fascist, an actual fascist. And in the first 3 minutes of a town hall, I think I would summarize Kamala Harris' closing argument from the night as, you really need to vote for anybody but Donald Trump, and I'm anybody, right? Do we think that argument landed? This next guy, he says, yeah, she tried to paint Trump as an extreme and dangerous all night. Besides calling Trump a fascist, Harris repeated the line that Trump allegedly had called fallen soldiers suckers and losers. The Atlantic reported that back in September 2020, blah, blah, blah. She goes, we want to say, Matt says, it's almost as if Trump was an incumbent. We're an incumbent, isn't it? She's trying very hard to make the whole campaign a referendum on him and his fitness, which might be her best argument. But as you point out, Jim, it's not as if voters haven't factored in that point. So I was on Adam Carolla's show, and, maybe he wants to wait for his show to come out, but he did say something great. He said, Kamala Harris's campaign is basically, who are you going to vote for, the fascist or potato? Because I'm the potato.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the South Park, though.
Right.
Turd sandwich.
Well, I mean, but Trump, she's just saying he's bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like Trump is anchovy pizza. Some people don't like it, but it's still pizza and it's still food and you can eat it.
He's not perfect, man, but if they really wanted to beat Trump, the Democratic Party, they should have had a Democratic convention and let the people select the best candidate.
We're past that, I think. Now they have 12 days. She's just like, he's Hitler. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like, I don't care. Don't vote for me, but then you're voting for Hitler. You have your options.
Literally what they're doing.
It would have been funny. I call that the Kang and Kodos.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember Treehouse of Horror when they're like, what are you going to
voted for
do?
Kang.
It's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us. That's basically what she's going on. And then it's funny because Trump is just like, I'll deregulate the energy sector so that prices for transportation come down and your food prices come down with it. And you're like, okay, well, that sounds reasonable. Yeah. What say you, Kamala? And she's like, well, I'm a potato, but at least I'm not a fascist.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh. Well, that may work on some people, but most people, I'd say no.
No. I mean, she has no really good policy stuff. I mean, she comes out with some new things here or there, but he seems to be winning on that front. The only thing she really has that could potentially win her this entire thing is just the abortion thing.
She's 100% guarantee or betting on abortion. And the thing is,
it works though.
Well, it does, but most of the women that are actually like really up in arms about it can't have kids anymore.
That doesn't matter. Yes, that is quite funny and ironic. Yes, but that doesn't matter.
The vast majority of them are like women that have went through menopause
but they have kids.
A decade ago.
They
and
might
they're
have
just like,
kids.
man, my granddaughter really needs to be
Literally,
able to kill
though.
my great granddaughter.
One of the things
I don't know.
in her weird answer was, if you've raised kids, how you make mistakes. She's like, she's never
She
raised
doesn't have kids.
Why did she bring that
She has
up?
adult stepchildren.
She's like trying to appeal to the people with kids. It's like, dude.
You know what's crazy is that she's not even good at vamping.
No.
Like if someone was like, hey, buy me time, I'd just start telling a story. Are there any mistakes in your life that you think you've learned from? Like, oh man, let me tell you a story back when I was a kid, right? So I used to work and then I just pick any story of my life and try and just stretch. But she's going, well, I, from a range of, if you're a parent and as vice president, and, it's, I like to research and it's a mistake not to.
I mean, I would almost
that was almost a sentence.
Yeah.
She started to almost say some mistakes, and then her ego took over, and she wouldn't allow for the humility. And she's like,
I mean,
about like 20 seconds before or 10 seconds before she rapped, you could see just her ego was like, don't admit any weakness. Don't admit weakness. They won't vote for you.
She does go on to say, well, one weakness, and some would say it's a strength, is that I'm surrounded by very smart people. And I have very smart people around me. And that's where, let me pull up the Trump War Room post where they compare with Michael Scott, because, I don't do it justice. I wonder if, who owns The Office anyway? Are they going to come after us?
someone powerful.
Someone powerful indeed. Yeah, it was on
Ricky
Netflix,
Gervais
though.
is cool though, but I don't.
All right, here we go. Here's the clip.
Perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength.
Well, my weaknesses are actually strengths.
Oh.
Yes. Very good. There you go. Very good.
I really do value having a team of very smart people around me.
I work too hard. I care too much. And sometimes I can be too invested in my job.
Perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually...
Yeah,
That
That face too. Sour.
What is she doing?
I don't know, but this deserves to be screenshot and retweeted. That's that face is also a face I would say exemplifies the CNN town hall.
The pain she was feeling thinking about what she was saying.
You know they're making her do it. Like when you give answers like that, you're like, I do not want to be
She
here.
do put there. They're like, you're the only face we got right
It's like Joe Biden last time around. He just got to sit in his basement. Why can't I sit in my basement? Like, why do I have to go do all this stuff?
And like you
China, why don't you go ahead and help me out too?
it's not like
Xi
she could have said
Jinping.
no. I mean, if she's probably like, if I say no to this, it would be the biggest mistake I ever made in my life.
I mean, you're not saying no.
yeah. In those positions, they're like, we need you to run for president. You're like, oh, well, all the money's behind me. The whole thing's already done for me. Okay.
I mean, it just just goes to show how bad of a candidate she is, where she's not smoking Trump.
Let's jump to this clip from CNN. I wonder, all of you gentlemen, how do you think CNN thought she did? I think everybody knows.
They weren't too pleased.
It's kind of shocking to me right now to say this, but Washington Post criticizing Kamala Harris and CNN criticizing Kamala Harris suggests that she is doing so miserably that they can't even pretend like they have desperately tried to for so, like with Biden. They pretended until the debate when they couldn't, and they were like, But let's play the clip.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city. And she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
She doesn't have to be flawless, but she has to give you something. I mean, she's like a true double threat. You know, she's terrible on her feet when she gets unexpected questions. And simultaneously, she can't even answer the expected questions. It's nothing, nothing, nothing. You'd think she'd be prepared to do this by now. You know, what's a mistake you've made? Nothing. What's a weakness you have? Nothing. What's the first law you want to pass? Nothing. What's a policy difference between you and Joe Biden? Nothing. Over and over. Empty.
Look at even Axelrod was starting to laugh.
Duck-billed platitude.
But look,
It's a total
Duck-billed platitude.
Focused a lot more on Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say, than she did on many specifics in terms of what she would do as president. But she did go into some of her plans for small businesses.
Well, I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And, you know, some people have asked, is she being held to a different standard? Maybe, but that's maybe the world that she's living in. And on the question of who she is, people are understanding that a little bit more, but what she will do, the question about her legislative priorities, name one, there wasn't one.
I think that the word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions are not necessary, but when she's talking about trying to get you a house, I believe her.
Kamala Harris participated in a one-person debate last night, and she lost. She was asked direct questions, and she provided very circular answers. My colleagues Van Jones and David Axelrod and others noted that, you know, she provided word salad answers. And, you know, Anderson would ask her specifically direct questions, and she didn't provide an answer to them. When asked, Anderson asked the best question all night. Why didn't you do this 4 years ago? Why haven't you been doing this? 10-minute answer, didn't answer the question. So what she did last night, I don't think helped her cause at all. I think people were looking for, you know, how are you going to, you heard the one woman, how are you going to make my life better? That wasn't provided. Donald Trump bad is not going to get you to the White House. I hate to break it to her.
I absolutely love when he said Kamala Harris participated in a one-person debate and she lost. Wow. Yeah, that was a good one. And I just, you know what I would love so much more? He says that woman asks, how would you make my life better? And she doesn't give an answer. I would respect Kamala so much more if she just went, I'm not. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think goes on in this country?
There won't be any mean tweets.
Yeah, right. Look, lady, I'm a potato. I'm going to sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
Like Trump's Hitler.
I mean, that's honestly the only real benefit I could find of her being president is just the amount that you have to pay attention to politics goes down a bit.
No, it'll go way up.
You think so? With
Kamala, it'll go up 10-fold.
Just remember, like when Trump was president, it's just like
that's the media doing that to you.
I understand that, but they're going to continue doing that.
So the question is,
all of Twitter and everything.
If it were true that voting for Kamala would make the politics go away, how come it's only gotten 10 times worse under Joe Biden? And the reality is, Biden-Harris policies have caused serious political tumult to the point where it's not about Donald Trump anymore. It's about why food prices are through the roof, why immigrants are sleeping in schools, why people can't afford homes anymore, why Gen Z is living in cardboard boxes while illegal immigrants are getting hotel rooms. And so now you're glued to the TV with everyone shrieking in your ears because you can't afford to eat, but an illegal immigrant's got a PlayStation 5 in his hotel room in New York City.
Danny, and also
not even kidding.
One other thing you need to think about is when people talk about J.D. Vance, they're already saying that he's worse than Trump. This isn't going to change.
Yeah.
As long as it's a Republican, this is the modus operandi. This is the norm now. If you're talking about Republicans, All of them are Hitler, and the Democrats are going to behave as if whatever Republican is in office or whatever Republican is being brought out, they're going to behave as if they're the worst.
Oh, I mean, that's all they got right now.
So the idea that like Trump, this isn't unique to Trump. Trump is a symptom of what's going on. Trump is not a cause. There's so many people out there that think, oh, without Trump, then things will be fine, or when Trump's gone, things will be fine.
I mean, secretly, CNN's got to want him to win, as much as they can't say it for their their business.
They're looking at their ratings, being like, "You guys remember the glory days? You know, back they were like, hey man, look, 6-7 years ago, we were getting 1 million, 3 million.
Yeah.
Cable TV was back, baby. We need Donald Trump."
Like, they are all going to get a boat as long as they can get Donald Trump and a new airborne virus, and they are just printing money.
That sounds like a good bit you guys could do, where it's like Trump wins, and then it's like what CNN, like it's in a CNN office. The guy runs in, he goes, "Trump has won," and then it's just 1 year later, and they're all on boats.
Get me Wuhan on the phone. Let's crank this up.
Ratings through the roof. So hey, man, I kind of feel like I'm hearing this rumor. I don't know if it's true that Kamala denied Joe Rogan's request, like she's refusing to go on the podcast. I haven't seen any official sourcing on it. I just saw someone tweeting it, and I'm like, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. She can't do 3 hours.
Oh, dude. Joe would kick her out. I'm sorry. You look at that town hall, I tell you what, Joe Rogan would be sitting there and he'd be like, so what do you think, caused like the problems we're seeing right now? Because I know I got friends who are going to the grocery store and they're talking about whipped cream being $6. And then when she just patters again, well, I'm glad, Joe, you brought up groceries because people need groceries. And I'll tell you what we got to do. What we got to do is what we've always had to do, and that is focus on things that we need, like focusing on groceries, which I think is, and Joe's going to be like, get out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious if because Trump's pretty much only done, I believe, an hour, except for I think one podcast he went 90 minutes on. But I wonder if he's going to go do some real long, like 2.5 hour traditional Rogan episode.
I imagine I wonder if the first thing Joe asks is going to be like, are there UFOs? Are there?
That'll come up 100%.
Oh,
he'll ask that. Because I think Theo Vaughn asked him that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that'll come up. But she can't really talk. She can't just chop it up for 2 hours.
It is kind of weird that, I'm just going to say, even Ian can go on a rant about graphene if he needs to buy time. You know what I mean? Like, if something comes up, Ian will talk about the crown or graphene. Like, is there nothing Kamala Harris cares about that she could use to vamp?
I'm honest, so I don't need to hide and think about what I'm going to say next, which helps me flow. I can go into stream state for an hour straight. I can keep talking. I'm built to do this.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
As long as you're honest, it doesn't matter what you say. Because if someone said, what are some of your mistakes? If Ian didn't have an answer, he'd say, oh, I don't know. I probably have to think about it. I've never really thought about it.
Can't show that for her. She can't show that weakness.
Yeah.
She'd immediately say, I don't like Joe Biden. Like, if she was being honest, she'd be like, I didn't like working with the guy. I can't stand him. He wasn't fit to be president.
It would be so based, and I'd actually respect her a lot more if she was like, Anderson's like, what are some of your weaknesses? And she goes, well, I'm not really good at this, am I? I have no idea how to answer these questions. It's not something I've ever been prepared for.
She'd have so many more voters if she acted like that.
If she could just be normal.
Right.
That's the thing is Trump is, at least, whether you like him or hate him, that is who he is.
Yeah.
She cannot be who she is. Like, she cannot find that.
It would have been
her.
And he said personal life too. So she couldn't be like, I used to put too much salt when I was making my casserole. And I know but when I would serve it to people, they'd be nice and it would be disgusting. And I learned a lesson that sometimes people aren't telling you the truth because they don't want to hurt your feelings, but that could lead to bad policy. Come on. You've never made a bad meal that someone lied to you and said was good?
Sure.
She could have said anything. She could have said, I used to wear my shoes in the house. And then I realized I was just trailing mud, but that was doo-doo. And then, if you have kids come in. And so these are the mistakes. She couldn't come up with literally, he said personal life. You can make something up.
Nothing.
I don't do my dishes.
Don't you remember her drinking the beer on Colbert?
She should have
drank
said
the beer. You're like, you don't drink beer?
Yeah.
You don't drink beer ever. You drink wine.
I said
drink
that
beer.
As soon as I saw her crack that beer, I was like, she's acting as though she's never had a beer in her life.
It was just
She probably doesn't drink beer.
It was just as bad as when Pocahontas did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was like, I'm having a beer, and then didn't like her husband come in and slap her ass on camera. Yeah. Elizabeth Warren was in the kitchen being like, I'm going to have a beer here. And then her husband walked up and was like, what are you doing? Whack.
Did he really?
I'm pretty sure.
Did she have like 400 containers of ice cream in her fridge?
No, that's Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, that was Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Elizabeth Warren. Let me fact check this.
Hilarious.
Do you guys remember when she didn't have her teleprompter on and she literally couldn't speak at all?
Yeah, because she's like a bot.
They're a lot of.
She's just like a program. I would never recommend this to anybody, but she needs to take some improv classes.
Kamala.
Like Kamala, yeah. Like I would, if anybody
not
ever is
recommend.
like a normal person, should I do improv? I'm like, absolutely not. Please do not do that.
Really?
Yeah. But for her, she could use some. She needs to like yes and.
I feel like that's telling someone not to practice. I'm not a comedian. I don't know. I'm not an actor. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm deferring.
The
to you.
world does not need any more improvisers, is what I'm getting at. Okay, we
Okay,
don't
all
need
right.
any more. We're full.
I back that.
Right, but she could use some classes.
Yeah, man, she needs to get loose.
I love Michael Scott. Michael Scott took improv classes, didn't he? Remember with the gun?
The character, Michael Scott.
Michael Scott in The Office. Remember, because they keep comparing it to him, and he had the thing. Remember where he always had a gun.
Where he was wearing the do-rag for a while?
No, I don't know. It was he always had he would even improv, and then he would always have a gun. He goes, he's got a gun.
All right, I'm just going to show the video, and then you can decide for yourself, because every story about this has been scrubbed, but there's still the video of it. And so here you go.
Who's joining this video? It's great to hear from you. Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
You don't talk like that. You don't say I'm going to get me a beer.
And she could have grabbed it before going live.
Hey, Robert, my husband Bruce is now in here. You want a beer?
No, I'll pass on the beer for now.
You sure? Okay, say hello to folks.
Yes.
So, this is my sweetie. Hello.
Yeah, you
did.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
That was like a normal interaction.
But when he slapped her ass.
Yeah.
That was like the controversy, but it's like, it's a husband and wife.
Yeah.
It's like, Denny's like, it's totally fine.
It's fine.
But it was a controversy.
Show
at
that
the
you're a
time.
person.
It does.
I suppose, indeed. But she is certainly not. She was acting very robotic, and she, I'm going to get me a beer.
Yes.
And then
Would you
she,
like a
would
beer?
you like a
Engage beer
No,
sequence?
I'll pass. Also, shout out to Colin Rugg for that clip.
But she doesn't want to
on,
answer.
This is a
on
great one.
CNN breaking it down.
I love that
word salad.
Like the CNN, everybody that works there's like, look, we're taking care of ourselves first on this one.
Yeah.
Like they served as the lapdog for the.
Didn't you see what they did to
state.
Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo?
Look at this. What does that say?
Harris
What does that say, Ian?
Well, I got my glasses on for this one.
0.2.
Harris at 0.2 nationally. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a statistical tie.
Yep.
0.2 is meaningless.
How did she make up 3 points in a week?
Well,
in the last week?
No, she's lost. Trump's been skyrocketing nationally. So take a look at this. Morning Consult, as of the 18th to the 20th, had Harris up 4.
Oh, gotcha.
Rasmussen has Trump up 3.
Oh, that's for all of them.
Rasmussen is more right-leaning than he believes. So let's go look at Forbes, Harris X, not right-leaning. They say from the 20th to the 21st, after the Morning Consult, Trump is up 2. Then you've got CNBC, which was published later, but tracked in before the 20th, Trump up 2. And now you have the Wall Street Journal showing Trump is up 3. Right now, it is a statistical tie. Oof. And this time in 2020, Biden was up 8.1. What did Biden end up winning by? Like 5 or something?
3 or something? I don't know.
Was it 3? So I got to say right now, the battlegrounds, Donald Trump is winning all of them. Every single one in aggregate. I don't know if the polls matter all that much, to be completely honest. But let me just say, if they're indicative of anything, the narrative right now is that Kamala Harris should not be able to win.
It would be nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on any of that. We'll see.
You think there's a chance for old Kamala?
Do I think there's a chance? Oh, I definitely think there's a chance. I mean, if I had to pick, I would pick Trump, but I would not be surprised. And I'm not even going to bring up any conspiracy theories.
I'm not even going to talk about electronic voting machines flipping tallies in the background without us being able to inspect the code.
No.
But what do you think happens with polls showing Trump is winning across the board and the betting market showing he's winning, and then some weird thing happens? So look, you go back to 2020 and they were all saying, oh, Trump won, it was rigged and all that stuff. But Biden still had the polls.
Yeah.
And then everyone saw the mail-in ballots come in after Election Day, giving Biden the win. It's kind of crazy. Trump wins on Election Day. I believe he even declared victory and said, that's it. Like, look, Election Day is over. You can check what's been counted. I've won. And then Biden votes popped up at the last minute, a day or two later, like, oh, actually, these ballots weren't counted yet. So Republicans are like, how are you counting ballots after Election Day? But Democrats are like, what, we win. There's still some plausible deniability in that Biden was up 8 points in the polls.
Yeah.
Now, Kamala is statistically tied with Trump and losing the battlegrounds.
And the betting markets.
And if she ends up winning with some weird shenanigans, people are going to be like, nah, not this time.
Yeah, they need to get the votes in and tallied as soon as possible, day of. I mean, honestly, if you can do that, day of. But like I don't think that the electronic voting machine network is tight enough to calculate in one afternoon how many votes they need to flip a vote in one way or the other. I don't think it's there yet. I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem like it. I think that's why they would need days.
I don't understand. Every 4 years they have this, like Chris was saying, the Maricopa County or whatever in Arizona, they're saying it's going to take them
13 days.
What is that all about?
They've had 4 years to figure this out, and they had 4 years since the last one.
No, they took 4 years. They figured it out, and they figured the best way to secure the results they want is to give themselves 2 weeks after Election Day to decide who
That's
won.
crazy.
Yeah, and it's a constitutional crisis. Where's the legislature?
What is the actual, like, if you put Elon Musk in charge of this, what would he do to be like, do you hire more people? Is that all?
Open source the code and let the community.
Do you just need
fix
more
the
people
system.
working at the polls?
I think it's simple. The Constitution says we have one election day, and any ballot after midnight is thrown in the garbage.
Yeah, just if you do mail-in ballots, you do them beforehand. Anything that comes in after Election Day at midnight is not counted. You missed your opportunity. They should all be paper ballots. There shouldn't be any computerization of it at all, because paper ballots can be counted and they're physical things.
Yeah.
I know you talk about opening the code and stuff, but as long as there is the ability to change it even after the fact or whatever in a computer, if you do that, it can be changed. Regular, write them in, not the whole punching things like the Chads that they had a problem in 2000 with George Bush. Regular paper ballots. You should have to have an ID. It would be best if there was no absentee voting at all. It's like get to the poll on the day that it's supposed to be there. Sure, make it a federal holiday so people can have the day off. I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem with that. No, they don't. And they don't want IDs either. 85% of the American population think that you should have to show an ID to vote.
Seems reasonable.
85%. And the government will never do it because the Democrats will never be on board, because the Democrats know that if you have to show an ID, then they won't be able to get people that are not citizens to vote. That is
that's how I'm voting.
Reason.
It's so busted.
That's how I'm voting without.
Oh yeah. I thought you were.
That's a joke, guys. That's a joke.
This is the thing about the paper
Please
ballots.
don't deport
I don't
me.
hate paper ballots, and I think we should still use them as backup to a machine if we're going to use the machine. But it relies on you handing them off to someone that's going to hand them off to someone, and you've got to trust a chain of humans, which can be easily corrupted and toss them aside.
You have to trust.
Yeah, but you don't know which. The thing is, they don't know who they're like throwing out, right? You're just throwing out sealed envelopes.
Yeah. Maybe they.
You don't know if those are the votes you want.
But the point, look, if you're talking about a human point of failure, whoever writes the code is going to be able to go. It will be a point of failure. Whoever's again, you continue to say free up the code, but most people can't read code.
Oh, but there's enough people that could inspect the code to see if it's able to flip votes. The machine shouldn't be able to flip the votes.
I mean, why not?
Because that's not what they're built to do. They're built to give you the vote that they received.
That's
yeah. I mean obviously there could be
that's
some
just
maybe a blockchain solution like way down the line.
Maybe there's some kind of blockchain solution. Fine.
Yeah.
But
Can you for the votes is if they're postmarked? Is that how it works? They just have to be postmarked by midnight.
Well, I think that it should be. I mean, I guess
is that the current rule though?
I'm not sure. I don't know for sure.
Like you can have it postmarked after November 5th and still count.
There are. No. I think Tim had tweeted one that was like they had up to the 12th to get it in or something like that. But it shouldn't be. It should just be go there the day of, and if you can't go there the day of, you don't get to vote.
I mean, if anything, just do that for all the people who are watching who are like, I want to know who's going to win.
Yeah. It shouldn't be that hard. Like, it should not be this complex. It should be show up, show your ID, and vote. And if you can't, too bad. Yeah, like, this is not it's not a situation where voting is not as much as they want, the government tries to make it sound like this sacred, important thing that everybody's, if you don't get to vote, it's some massive violation of your civil liberties. That's not true at all.
Yeah, so should it be a holiday then?
It should be.
I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, make it a holiday. That's fine. Make it a nationwide federal holiday. Everybody that can get everybody gets the day off. Everything's closed.
Yeah.
You don't get to go to.
Maybe get rid of Columbus Day and swap it with.
Well, I mean, they've already got.
Italians aren't going to like that.
They already got rid of Columbus Day. It's with the whole indigenous people. But make it a holiday and be like, that's it. One day, go vote. get to the poll.
I love that you mentioned blockchain. Like
Oh, did you?
You could punch the ballot, put it in the machine, which reads it, puts it on a blockchain, puts it on like 6 or 9 different blockchains. So if someone does get a hold of one of those, they're not going to get a hold of the other 8. And then there you go. You can reference it online with a barcode that no one else has
There's
access
for sure a
to.
way
You can
that it
scan.
could be done. Obviously, it would.
What's the argument against public ballots?
You don't want to know if lynchings. People can go find people that voted the way they didn't like and attack them. So you don't.
Yeah,
You
I mean
want to
that's
avoid,
the whole.
secret
People don't
ballots.
want to.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a strong enough argument.
I think it happened so much in the past that they realized.
I don't know if you could have, like you're saying, public, like just there's a ledger of everybody who voted. I mean, there's so many people who
that would get rid of fraud.
Yeah, but maybe
because then anybody could pull up the ledger and be like, these people are dead.
Yeah. Well, for the dead part, for sure. But there's a lot of people who say one thing and
then you could
vote
check you could check the ledger and be like, I did not vote for that person.
Yeah.
You should be able to verify your own for sure on a ledger, but I think it would be like a secret, like a code that you have on your phone that you could scan. No one else had access to verify your. It's risky to let other.
The argument is that if it's public, people will vote based on what they think, and people would not vote Trump because they'd be scared for people to see them voting Trump.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be.
I think again, I don't mind. It should be. You should be the secret ballots is fine with me, but one day, get in there, show ID, keep it. I think it should be paper ballots, no computers, no nothing. That's it. And you seal it up. You put it in. I don't even think you should put it into like draw. At least where I go and vote, you take the actual ballot and you drop it in a box. You should have an envelope. Put it in the envelope. Seal the envelope.
That probably would make everything take so much longer though if they have to open envelopes.
I don't think it would take that much.
Like, what's the actual case for it? Is like, there's 350 million people, and it just.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's 350 million people. There's only like we've only managed to get.
Well, last election,
a third of
was
America to vote.
150 million.
Yeah, 100. So that's not even half the country.
Yeah,
and it's split up like between in a bunch of different places. So the people that collect the votes, maybe there's 10,000 votes, right?
Right.
So you get.
Do we need more of those people? Like the people who work at the.
Maybe. I mean, in cities, maybe. In my town, you don't have to. There's only 4,000 of us, and it's probably only 2,000 that actually vote.
Problem is if we're putting them in envelopes, sealed, and passing them off, someone's going to eventually have to open that envelope and look at it and decide whether or not to scan that thing. Or if you say no computers, to write it down what it says on it. And like there's a chain of vulnerability. And they're supposed to have people looking over their shoulders, but if those people are colluding.
That's what in my town, it's all paper ballots and stuff now. Like there's a boatload of places that are paper ballots. All the stuff with Dominion is because you have electronic voting. All the lawsuits, all that garbage. It's all garbage.
A lot of it's because it's proprietary. The way they've set up Dominion is to have a proprietary system you can't access.
Yeah,
you can't reference your own vote.
You're going to have companies are going to want it to be proprietary. They're not going to want to just give it away.
Well, it's a public
what are you
service.
selling?
It shouldn't
then?
be proprietary.
What's your business if it's not proprietary?
Yeah, we shouldn't have a private business doing our.
It's much more simple if you just do it.
Private businesses running prisons.
It's much more simple if you do it.
Private prisons.
It's much more simple if you just do it with a paper ballot.
Well, you can't verify your vote.
What do you mean you can't verify?
If you send it off and it's like I hope it counts.
So
that's I think a level. There's a level of trust in this system.
Nobody's
that you
ever
have
been able to
kind of-
verify their vote in like all of history.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about changing. You want to make a whole new process so that people can look and verify that their vote got counted the way that. And that also means that it's not going to be private. Where you can type in you're gonna have to give your social security social security number on your ballot so you can look up the ballot and the votes that they. I mean, you're talking.
Ian, what's your
social
security number?
It's you go to the website, you type in you make an account, you put in all your data, you log in, and it would give a bar or thing on the screen you could scan.
If they can't have people, if they don't want to have people to have ID, if the argument against ID is it's too complicated, you think you're going to go and make a profile?
Yeah, that's the thing. The more friction you put, the less likely people.
If you want to verify your vote, you can go make a profile. Scan it with your device.
That's still making friction. That's still making things that are unnecessary. You don't need any of that.
You can still go vote normal, punching the thing and handing it in. But if then you want to go verify your vote, you have a way to do it on a blockchain.
Right, I disagree with you. I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
Let's jump to this story from the New York Post. Democrat Senate campaign org fires employee accused of tampering with Montana ballot box. It's not just that. We've got this story from Channel 21 KTV. It's AP reporting 12 Colorado mail-in ballots were stolen and filled out. 3 were counted. And then there's another one that I had pulled up. There was a mailbox set fire to in Arizona that torched 20 ballots. So, we're getting off to a good start here. There's a video of a Democrat staffer tampering with this box in some way. Now, it's funny because they say allegedly tampering. Why are you saying allegedly? He's seen putting his hands on it and rustling the box around. He's trying to do something. He's literally tampering with the ballot box. We don't know that he succeeded in doing anything or whatever it is he was doing, but he was certainly tampering with it. They fired him, and they said he was simply trying to see if it was secure. If it was secure to the wall.
Has nothing to do with the fact that Trump is literally Hitler.
Sure.
Yeah, right?
It's like, I just want to see if your mail's secure in your mailbox.
The reason why they say Trump is Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini is not because they want violence. I mean, that may be a component, but it's because they want a standalone complex. They want 10,000 Democrats acting of their own volition to cheat so that they can win.
Yeah.
When it comes to counting the ballots, it takes only maybe a few hundred people even counting votes to go, does that say Trump? It looks like Trump. Garbage.
Yeah.
Kamala. Close enough. Kamala. And what's this one? Trimp? Don't know what that is. Kamala. I know that's one for Kamala.
It's like the whole hanging
chads
thing, right?
Yeah, you got to remove emotions from it. You said trust. There's a certain level of trust, but we've developed systems called trustless systems.
Yeah, like the Bitcoin ledger, obviously, there must be some way to change over to that one day. But
they need to have
some 90-year-old who wants to vote.
3 individuals per vote to count.
Like Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter's not going to vote on the blockchain.
They need 3 individuals per vote counted. So all counting should be done by hand, all votes done by paper, and it should be a Trump voter, a Kamala voter, and an independent, and all 3 of them go through each one and make a determination as to who got the vote.
And then if there's a discrepancy, they send it off.
Escalate to a separate. Yep.
But what do you think about an open source blockchain?
I think it has nothing to do with what we're seeing in destruction of with tampering with ballot boxes and torching ballots.
Well, you wouldn't have paper to worry about. They
Sure. And so the issue we're dealing with right now and the concerns that we have are pertaining to the fact that already we are seeing ballots destroyed and tampered with. And what will that mean for Election Day?
That paper ballots are vulnerable.
What do you think, Phil?
I think the paper ballots are the way to go.
Well, what do you think happens on Election Day if right now we're already seeing ballots get destroyed or ballot boxes?
I mean, you can't for 170 or 150 million votes. There's going to be some non-zero level of malarkey. If
do you think this stuff always happens?
Yes,
and we never pay attention. But then why?
Absolutely, every time ever.
So why don't we see all these stories leading up to every other election then?
Well, because up until 12
cared.
years ago, there was no social media. So if you go to CNN,
New York Post.
Well, I guess maybe they would have, maybe.
And this is a Democrat office firing a guy, and it's an official report.
Yeah,
this is high level.
I'm sure you know what. I'm sure you could have found these things, but now it's just so much more magnified.
There's cameras. Everyone's got a camera in their
cameras
pocket.
everywhere.
Catch
Exactly.
people in the
Like
act.
there's cameras everywhere. Everybody's got a camera. I'm sure this stuff has happened.
I think so too. I think regimes have been controlling narratives.
Then the question is, if it's in the mind of people, will anyone trust the results with a single story about ballot destruction?
I don't think anyone's going to trust the results either way.
Literally, no. Nobody,
even if Kamala and
either
Trump shake
side
hands
is
and both wave and say we agree, everything's good here.
Even in 2016, there was the the Trump Russia stuff. In 2020, there was the whole Trump said that he won and stuff. I mean, there's no way that that. I think that's the idea of people actually accepting the vote as honest. That ship sailed.
The only people who are going to accept the vote are the people who voted for Chase Oliver or Jill Stein.
Wait,
because they know those people are losing regardless. But everybody who is a Democrat or Republican voter will not accept the results.
This is what I don't understand. It sounds like you're saying no one's going to trust it, but let's just do it anyway.
No one's going to trust it regardless of how we do it.
But what if you secured it on digital?
Well, we're not doing that this year.
No one's going to trust it because they're going to because there's already been they're going to say, oh well, look, there was the whole stuff with Dominion. Computers can be hacked. No one's going to trust it.
Computers can be hacked
because they're not going to trust it, not because the system is so uniquely insecure. It's just that people won't trust.
Do you then agree with Rudyard?
That there's going to be violence?
1,000 dead by April?
I don't know about that, but I mean, I articulated my position last night, and I do think that that we're in for shenanigans. So
I don't see how it's funny because these poly market odds are like 2-1 Trump, and I'm like, have they considered the possibility that there's no inauguration? I mean,
well, then you get your money back. I think that's neither a yes nor a no.
That you get your money back for those things?
Yeah. It has to be resolved. If you ever bet on Polymarket, it's like you have to. It says it's resolved a yes if he's like elected.
It says if the AP, Fox, and I think NBC call the winner, then it resolves. For the winner.
So it doesn't have to be.
And if it doesn't get called by the press on inauguration day, whoever is inaugurated will be the resolution. But I'm like, and what happens if there's no inauguration?
Maybe
what happens if there's two?
If there's two separate inaugurations, where are they going to happen? How does that work?
What do you mean? A group of people get together and hold up the Bible, and then Kamala and Trump both swear on it in different places.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'll be fun. That'll be
So here's a long shot scenario for you. The Democrats refuse to certify Donald Trump, citing that he is ineligible under the 14th Amendment, Section 3. So they refuse to count votes for Donald Trump, instead counting votes for Kamala Harris to give her the Electoral College victory. Trump and other Republicans say, this is ridiculous. We know for a fact he won. Democrats say, nope, we've certified Kamala to win. Doesn't matter. We are the House and we certify. Thank you and have a nice day. She's also the vice president. She'll be the one counting the votes. So when Jamie Raskin, who already said they intend to do this, literally in February, he said they will not certify Donald Trump if he wins. I'm telling you, he said this literally at a bookstore conference. He was a round table or whatever panel. And he said, if Trump wins, we will have civil war conditions. We will not certify the vote. We will say, Donald Trump, you are ineligible under the 14th Amendment. What happens then when there's no resolution? The Supreme Court gets petitioned by everybody. And then come January 20th, the White House or the Capitol grounds, they're closed. We're not doing anything. So Kamala goes to one building, Trump goes to the other, and they both claim to have an inauguration.
It's a bit above my pay grade. Yeah.
But I'm saying not for you. I'm saying, what does Polymarket do? It's like,
what does Polymarket do? Probably
Trump wins because the press is saying he has the most votes, but even though they didn't say he won.
Well, I guess I don't. Yeah, maybe. If there's then who's and there's just two official presidents.
Well, that's called
like a crappy TV show.
Yeah, it was a civil war in the United States that had two presidents.
Yeah, I guess. But they both operated.
Rudyard Lynch, What If Alt Hist, made the prediction that there would be a Patriots capital in Austin and a People's in D.C. And I disagreed with him. I said, well, that doesn't make sense because you said he thinks Trump is going to win. If Trump wins and Democrats revolt, Democrats ain't going to Austin. Republicans would be.
Of course.
So Republicans would have D.C., Democrats would go to New York. New York is a seat of power for the Democrats, and then they would have their Congress, and they'd
Trump
say,
Tower.
Well, they'd seize Trump Tower for sure.
Yeah, they seize Trump Tower, and that would be the new
that's a good point.
Congress building.
Congress, Democrat members would go there and say, Trump is ineligible, and we are not going to be party to a corrupt fascist takeover of government. This is a coup, blah, 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 blah.
Honestly, they're not competent enough to pull something like that off, I don't think.
I disagree.
Yeah.
You got to read Sun Tzu.
All right, we'll see.
Don't underestimate your opponents.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
It's depressing.
I don't know. I mean, it seems that scenario seems closer to like a movie, but I could definitely see some violence. Absolutely. Mostly coming from the left if Trump wins.
Rudyard may just be a guy.
Yeah.
Some guy on the internet, huh?
I mean, we're all just guys on the internet, aren't we?
Yeah. And so when he says he has a standing bet, $1,000 if 1,000 people die by April, I'm like, that's a pretty extreme claim to make. I mean, that's months away.
Yeah.
That's half a year. You
It's
think
going to be like COVID
year?
All over again, where you're like, well, how did they die? Did they die of
No,
he's
saying specifically if domestic political violence results in death. Like, it's a clear-cut bet.
Bombing, kind of.
He said it's going to be like, you go to work every day, you watch the TV, but bombs will be going off in Chicago.
Did he ever get in a fist fight? Because he was talking like a kid behind a computer screen. Like,
but what does that have to do with?
Like, does he really
He's
think
not saying
that
he's looking for it.
Yeah, what do you mean?
He
was saying he read
like
about the history of Chinese dynasties, the French Revolution, the Spanish Civil War, and the Russian Revolution. And based on those things that he's read, here's his predictions.
Yeah.
And he may just be some guy who read some stuff and is wrong. That's sure.
I mean, this stuff has happened over and over again throughout history. We're living in a pretty relatively calm time.
That's the crazy thing is that we had a golden age for 30 years.
Yeah.
Longer. 30,
still in
35 years. Well, it's coming to a close.
Depends on what we do next, man.
It's the fourth turning.
It's definitely coming to a close.
You see, like the end of the 1700s, the way they developed electricity, and shit popped off. Golden age, like batteries, electricity, chemistry, and if we do some new technological breakthrough, we could have
Like
spacefaring
AI songs?
I don't know how that changes
AI,
the political
AI's
conflict.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
again,
you
people on the
restrict the
left
economy.
are not like Democrats. If Trump wins, are not going to take it well, especially because, like, there was a period a month or so ago when it was looking like Kamala Harris is just running away with it. Remember that, where like the odds shifted and she went ahead, and they were getting pretty jubilant. I just don't think it's going to be the ultimate letdown for them. And
I'm
it's
saying,
not going to take it.
listen, ladies and gentlemen, you have to prepare, and this is for you, Danny. You have to prepare. You
Go back to Canada.
You cannot. No, you can't do that.
No, I'm not.
You cannot sit around just waiting, wishing for the best. You got to go out. You got to buy backup batteries, because when Trump wins, these Democrats are going to be on the ground wailing like banshees, and you need to film it and post it to X so we get to watch.
Well, you should get a backup battery. Jackery is a good one. I have a Jackery battery. When the power went out at my house, I don't think there's that graphene in mine, but
Well, then you got a bad one.
My power went
I
out.
got a graphene battery. Ian's not.
I think I have a graphene battery.
The one I got you.
Yeah, that little
Starlink
guy.
will
But I've got
be
a big
valuable. Listen.
Jackery AC/DC power. It's great.
Graphene backup batteries. You know those portable batteries?
Yeah.
The graphene one can be charged up in 10 minutes.
Wow.
Check it
Because what the way it works is it's a lithium-ion battery with, I guess they say they've like got a graphene sheet running through it, which charges it equally and evenly all at once. So the energy goes straight into it, charges it. So you've got 2 full cell phone charges in 10 minutes.
There's a new gallium nitride is the new superconductor they're using. I make tiny. Look at this, 10,000 milliamp hour.
What,
battery.
really?
It's this thing, dude. And it has plugs in it.
10,000.
10,000, dude. It can charge my phone 2.5 times. This little guy. Wow. It's at 84% now. I've been charging it for about 20, 30 minutes.
Well, look, we all saw the video of the woman dropping to her knees and screaming no in
Where is she?
2016.
Do you
I
ever
don't
think
know.
of-
but
I think
listen.
about that a lot.
No, I think about
Who is she and where
what
is
scares me the most is that it's going to be November 5th, and Democrats across this country are going to be dropping to their knees and screaming no, and Republicans will have dead phones. Their phones are going to be dead, and they're going to be like, I can't get out. I got 1% left. No, I couldn't film it.
Yep,
And then
solar
what am I going to do? Huh? I'm on X.
Yeah.
And I just see one picture?
Assuming the
Making a video?
internet's up everywhere.
Unacceptable.
I got Starlink. and-
Jackery's,
Yeah, Starlink is a key.
You can use your cell phone as a mobile network and then put your laptop through that network. You can charge your Jackery battery through your car if you need to. If you really run out for like a day, you've got your car to charge your battery, which can charge your laptop and your phone.
Let's
Do you
jump into
think
the
she
story.
comes, just to cut you off, but do you think she comes to if he gets, like if he wins, do you think she comes to his inauguration?
Oh, I have no idea.
That woman?
Let's read the story. I got the Washington Examiner. Fear of election violence and civil war surge. Now that is called burying the lead, my friends, because here's the better story. The nation's largest network of survival camps is urging its members to spend Election Day inside its guarded fences due to growing concerns about political violence and civil war. Fortitude Ranch, which has several established and planned off-the-grid prepper resorts, issued its call after pollsters reporting surging fears of violence from the losing side in next month's election. Quote, if you are a Fortitude Ranch survival community member, they are going to be open on Election Day so members who are in areas of high risk of post-election protest violence can take refuge. Fortitude Ranch staff does not consider the likelihood of immediate post-election violence or civil war to be high, but there is a strong likelihood of some violence by the 50% or more of the population that will be very angry with the November 5th results, said the organization on its Collapse Survivor app. Okay, well, there's 2 ways to look at it. Here's a question for you. Is Fortitude Ranch being completely straightforward in, there may be some protests and you might want to, if you're in a high risk area, be at this camp where you can chill out, and they're really nice places? Or are they trying to avoid alarming people and sparking panic by saying, if you are in a high risk area, the chance of danger, violence, death is extremely high. You need to get out now, which could cause a panic.
Probably the second.
You think they're avoiding a panic?
Yeah, they probably genuinely believe it. If there's ever been a risk to political, like serious confrontational political violence in the last 30 years in the United States, it's going to be on November 5th or like right around that time because of the hot media. The way the media has been.
Where are these
tightening
people?
things
Where are
up.
they located?
They're all over the country.
Because I assume the type of person who goes to one of these is heavily armed.
Yep.
Right.
Well,
So
let me tell you about Fortitude Ranch. Okay. They're basically man resorts.
yeah.
Okay. So they say survival community, but I tell you what it really is. They've got bunkers. Yeah. They got emergency food. But when you go there, It's basically like a dude's retreat where you've got like you're chopping wood, you're shooting guns, you're watching movies in a log cabin.
Oh, sounds fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's like a timeshare for dudes, like a spa for dudes.
Like, are they just trying to sell more timeshares?
You're LARPing that you're a commando in the end of the world, but the reality is that if the world does end, you definitely want to be there.
Yeah,
but
so it's your cool vacation spot to go and do man stuff, and in the unlikely event that the world actually does end,
and you're in the best
you have
spot
a
for
place
it.
to go should you need it.
Man, RFK said a vote for Kamala is a vote for nuclear war. Did you see that?
Wow.
Today, I think
Yeah,
he
he
said
did.
that. That was. I would think of that as rhetoric, but I mean, he's.
That's why I wonder if Fortitude is really thinking like nothing's going to happen, but come hang out. You know,
They're really very good about contingencies, and I think they do believe that if there is something possible that might happen, it's going to happen early after the election. So be here for that.
Look, man.
I agree with that. Yeah, it probably will happen right away. And
Well, the
again,
thing is,
they're
like,
probably just trying to sell.
The real a lot of people talk about the fighting the government or whatever. That's not what is going to happen, or at least not what I imagine is going to happen. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be angry with other people. Like, as much as like Donald Trump is the big boogeyman, you see the way that like the leftists and stuff treat other Americans. Like the woman that went up to that person's, they caught her on the Ring camera. She went up to the house and she literally knocked on the door and she was wigging out because this woman was a Trump voter and stuff. I imagine that, and was the guy that got shot in Seattle.
Aaron Danielson.
Yeah, Aaron Danielson.
Was that Seattle or was that Portland?
Well, the Pacific Northwest.
There you go.
But even still, he was shot specifically because he was a Trump voter. I imagine those things would be more of a problem for your average American than like having to fight the government, because nobody's really going to want to fight the government.
No.
I do want to add this as personal disclosure. I have a as small as a minority stake as possible in Fortitude, like single digit, but I don't communicate with them. I don't know much about what they're doing or why they're doing it. I just want to make sure that's clear.
To clarify too, Aaron Danielson was in Portland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met the Fortitude guys. We've had
Yeah.
the CEO on the show and the CEO.
When they came on, I basically wrote a check like, "Hey, if something happens, can I bring my family?" And they're like,
Great
"Here, we'll
guys,
invest."
super honest guys, and I ex-military.
It sounds like
I
a fun
think.
time.
The CEO, I think he's ex-military. Was he?
Yeah, they're like ex-intelligence, military, and stuff like that.
So,
that's why I'm saying like it's more of a they call it off-the-grid prepper resorts. That's exactly how I describe it.
Resorts.
You like hang out and there's chickens.
Yeah.
And you LARP as being a man in the wilderness.
You're not like, are you eat all the food you're eating is like reconstituted with water, like
eating
rations style?
No, you're eating cheeseburgers and
okay, so
normal food.
This just sounds like a fun man retreat.
It's like a man retreat. But like I said, like if the world is about to end, you definitely want to be there. So that's why I asked the question, like, are they trying to downplay this because they don't want everyone jumping in their cars and speeding and then everything fills up and then they're like got people banging on the door?
exactly. Yeah, they're like, if it's going to happen, just on the off chance, be here before it happens.
Because they did this last time around. That's how we ended up meeting them, actually. Because I think in 2020 they issued a call saying, if you're a member, it's time to come to the bunkers. Yeah.
What do they go? Oh,
it's more boring than that. You have an app and it goes, brown.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
close the walls.
I mean,
it's like this giant 9,000 foot high wall.
I mean, you just don't want to be anywhere densely populated, and you're fine.
Yeah,
If you're in, like, I still even find it hard. to see.
but isn't it funny that they destroy
hold
their
on.
own cities?
What's that?
They destroy their own cities? It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
what are
like
they
New
fighting?
York City, like Williamsburg is going to get. I remember so specifically when Joe Biden, when they called it for Biden in 2020, I was sleeping. It was like 11. It was like 11 a.m.
And you heard the brrrr.
and I was sleeping, and literally, I woke up to cheering in the streets, right? And I didn't know what was going on. I was kind of confused, and I just hear all this cheering. I'm like, oh, Biden won. And I walked outside. It looked like I remember when I lived in Toronto, the Toronto Raptors won the NBA Finals. That's what it looked like. The streets were just full of jubilant people. This will be the opposite. This will be the opposite of that. People
Who wants to live in New York? It's so wild.
I don't do it by choice.
Then why do you do it?
Because comedy's good there.
You live in Jersey.
I do. Well, I actually do live in Jersey.
Aha! We got him.
But I'm moving back to New York.
Yeah, I know that joy of living close to the action. I like to
Yeah,
spend
yeah.
time in Miami for that reason, but it's nice to be in the woods.
Nah, bro, I tell you, you got to do comedy. out
Miami,
here. You got to go to
Trump wins, there'll be
go to-
salsa
go to
dancing in the
Images
street.
over on 340. Every Saturday, there's like 2 or 3 people hanging out.
Bombard them with a
You're laughing at us rural folk out here. Huh? What are you doing, huh?
Yeah, that's all I need is one set every 2 weeks. That's perfect.
Well, how often do you do a set?
10 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like New York's the only place. Maybe
And you just like
Austin
say
a
the
little
same joke over and over and over again?
Sometimes different ones, yeah. But it's whatever I'm working on. But I don't like I like whatever I'm working on for that period. And
So far to say, it's a different culture in a big city in the United States. It is such a different. This country is so vastly divergent. Like being in Miami, it's like being in a different country.
That's I feel if I understand correctly, that's the way that it's been for. I mean, as long as there have been cities, the culture in the city and the culture in the rural areas are significantly different.
yeah, I mean, like, there's a reason why most large cities in this country are Democratic. Like, are there any huge cities that go red? Like maybe like Dallas.
I don't know.
I don't even know. Like, it seems like most cities go, oh yeah, you know, it's like the big city, everybody's a Democrat, and then outside of it, everyone's a Republican. I mean, even New York is like that.
Like there's that vibe of like they'll take care of me if I'm in the city. Either they're going to take care of me or it's all screwed. So they better take care of me.
Yeah,
like, whoever they are.
I don't know.
It's like if there's a fire, we can't put it out. If
No.
the tree falls down, please someone come.
I was
and
just
pick
joking
it up
about
for us.
yesterday. I was in Greenwich Village, and there's like a giant, like Greenwich Village is literally a 1-bedroom apartment, is $6,000 a month, and there's a hardware store, like like must be sitting on a piece of land that would sell for $200 million. Like it's so valuable, and there's just like a hardware store. You're like, nobody here is going to a hardware store. Like, what is this even for? Like, nobody around here fixes their own stuff when it breaks. Like, you know.
Well, the help has to get someone to fix it.
They're all bug men.
Yeah, but still, that like all this stuff can be delivered by Amazon nowadays.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that too.
Point.
Oh man, big time. I find myself using Amazon.
Do you feel
almost
bad
every
about
day. Kind of not. I'm going hard on Twitch, and I'm just kind of like, yay, Amazon, yay, corporations. Like, I understand the danger of centralization of authority and power. Like, Amazon could create a drone army and take over the country if they tried. They could try, and they could make a dent. But
Stop giving Jeff ideas.
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's literally
Corporation.
magic what they do.
But it's kind of like we were talking about small government earlier, and I was thinking about the men who built America and how valuable it is to kind of strip away bureaucracy, like Elon and stuff. And like we had Rockefeller and Carnegie and Vanderbilt, and how much power these individuals and their corporations accrued because of that. So you do kind of want some government limiting corporate power, but I think we have too much government.
Yeah, Rockefeller was a G. He was doing by himself 1% of the American GDP. By himself.
We should have taxed him and taken everything from him.
They tried. They split up his companies, and then he got even richer.
Just because it's wrong to be rich for no reason.
He wasn't rich for no reason. He like
if
did
you
all
win
that stuff.
If you win the lottery, you're instantly evil. That's just the way it works, you know.
Yeah.
Terrible take.
Yeah, if you win the lottery, we should take all of your money from you and distribute it to the people.
I mean, everyone in this room has won the geographical lottery.
Yep.
Except for you, you're Canadian.
I still feel like I did.
You're still.
Hey, there was a chance that I grew up in Russia, so I'll take it.
You're as protected by America as you can be protected by America and not be in America.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to Canada to stay? Like, do you go live
My
there?
family lives there.
Do you go like?
I don't live there.
X months a year or anything?
No.
Did you have to do like hostile environment training and get prepared to go back because of how bad it is?
It's not. Well, my parents live in like a suburb of Toronto, so it's
like
fine.
it's bad, but it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, no.
I worry about going to Canada because of my ex posts. I'm surprised you don't worry about your going there because of your comedy routine. You say
I say some crazy stuff. I mean, I made this one thing about Trudeau on Colbert, this AI video that went like super viral in Canada.
Oh yeah, you got in trouble for that, didn't you?
No, I got in trouble for the Jake Tapper. I didn't get in trouble for the Jake Tapper one. I made this one about the exploding goats, basically when the pagers were going off, and then I said
right
goats, and then Jake Tapper messaged me.
What?
And he's like, I need to talk to you. And I was
Are
like,
you joking?
I'm no. I'm friends with Jake Tapper now. And literally he messaged me because it went like mega viral, like tens of millions of views. And then he messaged me on Twitter and he's like, Danny, this is Jake Tapper. I need to talk to you.
Text him and tell him.
And I was like, I'm in so much trouble because I made two different ones. And then
Jake Tapper?
Well, I just thought he was like, stop using my face for your comedy videos. Like, stop it or whatever, or we're going to
Was he like, hey, this was really funny? And
yeah, he was like, can you make me a AI video for CNN because I want to do a segment about the dangers of AI. And I'm like, I'm the danger.
Did he do the segment?
Yeah, he did the segment. And then
I'm like, it's gonna show you with like a Hitler mustache. And
no,
he's like, this guy did this to me.
No, but then he's making it his like whole like top like concern right now is this AI stuff. And he went on Seth Meyers. He was talking about me and he called me.
Get him to tell his wife to drop out
on.
of the New Hampshire race because I don't want her to be my congressperson.
I mean, I have his phone number, but I'm not going to do
him.
that.
Give it to me.
No.
Jake, tell her to drop out.
She's running?
Yeah, she's running against Lily Tang.
She lives in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
For the purpose of going to
Right, because he must live in
Congress.
New York.
I'm sure he
What?
does.
Sure lives in New
How long has she lived in New Hampshire?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's
long enough
crazy.
to be like, oh, I want to run for president. But she's totally backed by like.
She's trying to be,
Hillary
what, a
Clinton.
congresswoman?
Yeah, she's trying to take the New Hampshire second Congress.
Shout out to Lily Tang Williams. I like her a lot. She's been on the show.
Lily's great. You should, if you're a voting kind and you're in New Hampshire, you should go.
She was
vote for
from China. She understands big on gun rights. She understands self sovereignty and how
Jake
important
Tapper's wife is a total like deep state apparatchik. No joke, she is.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm not kidding at all.
So now you and Jake are tight.
Yeah,
you've been working on. So I want to see one of these videos.
Why don't you get him in a video with you and Ryan?
But you know what it is so I said this on the Boyscast, but so he basically was like, can you make me this video of me speaking? And he gave me like all these things to write. And I was like, sure, I'll make it for you. It only takes me like 20 minutes. And then in it, funny enough, he said, like in the text, he said, this video was made by this brilliant comedian, Danny Polishchuk. And I kind of like rolled my eyes. I was like, whatever, this is what he wanted. And then I made it and I was in a group chat with him and his producer. And then I sent them the video. And then she messaged me like off to the side, just one-on-one. She's like, hey, can you remake the video but just remove the word brilliant? But I was like, those were his words. I didn't even want to say that. What's that?
I would have just been like, sorry, that's what Jake wanted.
Well, what I understand is that
Or
I'm making fun of CNN.
You should have just said no.
Yeah, I'm making fun. Obviously, I'm like, CNN is somewhat the butt of the joke to a degree here, and they're trying to use this, and so he can't like totally endorse me publicly.
You could have taken out brilliant, but put like genius. Like,
Okay,
okay,
here you go. I
here's
fixed it. Mega genius comedian.
Handsome.
No, I just wanted you to just remove that. But
well, you said remove it, and I did.
And then he went
Never
on
said
Seth
don't put anything
Meyers.
in.
Yeah, he went on Seth Meyers, and he's like, this comedian is making these gross videos.
Did they show a picture of your face where your skin was like turned green, like Rogan?
Oh yeah, no.
They're like, look at him, he looks terrible.
No.
So what do you think
They
about?
made you fatter.
What do you think about regulating AI?
Honestly, so I make all these AI videos. I've been making them for the last month, and like, there is some percentage, not a small percentage, of people who cannot tell the difference between real and fake things. Like, they just can't. I don't know if it's because their glasses aren't on, they're not paying attention. I don't know. But like the exploding goats video I made, that was the first one I made that went super viral. I got a Snopes fact check. Like, Snopes contacted me and they're like, hey, can I ask you some questions? We're doing a fact check. I'm like, you're talking to a comedian right now, so that should be the end of your fact check. And they're like, well, no, because there's all these people on Twitter who are saying that the IDF is Mossad is blowing up goats in whatever, Lebanon. Like, all these goats in Lebanon are exploding, and people are saying this as fact, so we need to do a fact check on it. And there's some degree of people. Now, I don't know what if there's negative repercussions of that. Like, I think it's fine. I agree it probably shouldn't be in political ads, but
Maybe it should be.
I mean, if it is, it'll get so out of hand. And I'll gladly, if anybody wants me to make them, I'm getting pretty good at
You
it.
just use like an app or what?
I use this thing. It's actually just like an open source. It's called Easy Wave to Lip. It's like a GitHub repo, and then you just run it in a Google Colab, like just a source. It's really easy.
And then what do you make?
You just take in the source. So I write a script and then I put it into this like 11 Labs voice cloner thing, and then you just get a source. You get a source like audio, and then it clones it, and then you just export the new the text, and then you just like sync them to the audio and video.
Does
and
it make the mouth move like Jake Tapper's mouth move?
Yeah.
And it looks almost real.
Yeah, I made an Anderson Cooper one about the WNBA. And it's like, honestly, if you're looking at it, you can tell. But if you're kind of like, there's a lot of people who see these and cannot tell.
Especially on little
It could be because they have bad eyes. I'm not being.
No, seriously.
And like the screen might be a little blurry, and so it just looks like Anderson. talking.
See it in 480.
But I purposely make them like outlandish enough where you're like, clearly this is not real.
Why don't you make one right now, which is like Trump won, it's over.
Well, because I don't want to get deported.
I agree with you about political. I think it's risky.
I mean, you know what?
don't do
with
that.
Douglas Mackey, right? Like that guy's
Right,
in jail for
exactly.
like 7
For a
years.
joke. That he
for a
didn't
meme.
make it either.
I know. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I could cross some line and wind up in prison.
Yeah.
just by making an AI video.
Like if I do one that I'm like, oh no, that's comedy, and they're like, yeah, well we don't.
You should make one of Ryan Long saying that.
I was gonna make one of him endorsing Kamala Harris.
Oh, okay, there you go.
That would be awesome.
Go check out Ryan's new comedy special, by the way.
Yeah, where is it?
It's on YouTube.
Ryan Long Comedy? Is it?
Yeah, Ryan Long Comedy.
Ooh, when did it drop?
It just came out like a week ago.
Is it offensive?
man.
I mean, it is very offensive.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
We were
Problem
filming
solved.
we were filming jokes in the other room with the puppets, and because we got puppets of Richie and Mike, special Mike made.
And you.
Well, the me one was from Jack Posobiec.
Oh, okay.
And so we had these other ones, and me and Richie were just goofing off and making jokes and being silly. And then I was about to start a joke, but Sam was filming, and I was like, wait, Sam, stop filming. And he goes, now I know it's going to be funny. He was right.
You're like, this could damage the brand.
Yeah.
No, it was a really dark one.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, we can't film this one. And everybody
mean?
agreed.
That's
like,
cool.
yeah, I could make a AI of all of us talking and saying wild stuff. And there is, not to
I got one.
disparage your viewers, but there is some percentage of people watching right now who would be like, is Tim actually saying this stuff?
You should take a transcription of what Seamus says about his faith and religion, but then make Ian say it.
Oh, that'd be great. And then make him say the stuff I say.
Or maybe Seamus talking about how much he loves the devil.
And DMT, yes.
That would just be like offensive.
Yeah.
Like having Ian preach about how he's a devout Catholic and he goes to church and reads the
Wait,
Bible.
how's that not offensive to me?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Because
I'm just
you-
kidding.
you wouldn't be offended
It's
by
less offensive, but Seamus talking about DMT would
Making
be great.
Seamus praise
I
the
could do
devil
that.
would
I
be
could do that.
nice.
But that's it. So you're like on the cusp of this stuff.
But I am, but it's like this, all this stuff costs me $20 a month to use all this stuff unlimited.
So it's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's real cheddar. And it's like the learning curve. I could teach this to you in 5 minutes.
Well, why don't we do this in the members only?
Let's do it. We'll make one.
Let's make something crazy.
Let's do it. Yeah, it's really easy.
Let's make.
We can make it like a simple one because the
Have you do
problem
some
is it takes
Catholic
time
stuff.
it takes time to render.
Right.
That's the only thing that it does take some time to render the video. But
we showed you Suno.
yeah, Suno's amazing. That blew
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah, it was funny because so Special Mike, for those that don't know, he's one of our team writers at the Boonies, and he's ridiculously good. Trying to explain his skill level, because I was saying he's like a top level pro skater, but he doesn't skate like you'd see on any of these like famous videos. I said he's the Nigel Houston of Mike Vallely's, and instantly every skateboarder understands completely what I'm saying, but you guys have no idea.
No idea.
But anyway, he's trying to do, like, there's been a couple times in the past few days where he's trying to land a trick. And we made this AI song 4 months ago where it's a pop punk song where the guy just says, Special Mike is the greatest skateboarder. And then he's trying to do this trick. So I just turn it on. He lands it right away.
Really?
And then he was trying to do a kickflip indie. It's a trick off, over this gap. And he's falling. He gives up. And I was like, oh, come on. I know you can do this. I put the song on and the pop punk song turns on. And then he lands it right away. And then one of the other pros here is like, what is this? Like, who wrote this song about Special Mike? And I was like, what do you mean? You've never heard this one? This is a classic pop punk song from like 2003 about Special Mike, the greatest skateboarder. Yeah, how could you have not? And then we wrote one about him. And then he's just like, what is happening? When people don't know what Suno is and you hear a pop punk song that sounds like it's from 2006 and they're singing about you and what you do with your life, you're like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
Now imagine what kids are going to grow up with. It used to be difficult to make a song. And when a song was about something, it was like looking at a stone monolith. You don't know how long it took to build. Someone had to chisel.
You have to learn an instrument.
That's interesting.
But it was studio recordings. It was multiple people. It was a singer. And so when they sang, it was akin to a large statue. Now it's like Play-Doh. Now you turn on a speaker and and it's Donald Trump singing Gangster's Paradise.
I've noticed when I record myself doing something and I watch it over and over and over again, it becomes easier to replicate it. So when I hit those notes in a song, the really hard ones, I can do it easier because I've seen myself do it so many times. So if I forged an AI of me doing something challenging, I wonder if that would make it easier for me to actually
Oh, if you just have to
accomplish.
see it, like do something that is out of your kind of.
And I believe I can do it because I've seen myself do it so many times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah, this AI stuff is getting crazy, man.
It is, but yeah, I like they're going to try like that. The Jake Tapper thing is he had Amy Klobuchar on, and she's trying to put together some bill. But again, it's a First Amendment issue,
right?
Right. And
if I this is what I was saying before. If I can do an impersonation or an impression of Donald Trump, why can't I use a tool to simulate it? What's the difference?
Absolutely. And now, if I started trying to do some, something that I guess would, create civil unrest, and again, whatever technology I have access to, which is open source and cheap, the North Korean or the Chinese government, they have 10 versions ahead of this. They could do probably some wild stuff.
The crazy thing is when you stop seeing deepfakes is when you should be scared.
Yeah. Oh man, that's for sure. The difference is impressions and impersonations. It's the difference, because if you're doing an impression of someone, you're good. But as soon as you start to impersonate, especially a politician,
if you're impersonation implying you are intending to deceive someone that you are them for the sake of some kind of gain or whatever.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like what I'm doing is definitely covered by the First Amendment and parody law. But they wrote those laws. AI wasn't a thing. They were like, yeah, of course you can put on a wig and pretend to be Donald Trump. Right.
But even just voice.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do a really good Donald Trump voice.
Yeah.
So the AI is not a perfect Trump voice, but it's close enough to where people might think
it's not perfect.
And if you get a really good impression from someone, they might be like, oh, that sounds a lot like Trump.
And I mean, Gavin Newsom's AI bill, which obviously was mostly nonsense, but part of it was like, hey, you can't just, if you're a Hollywood studio, you can't take some actor and just use their voice.
Yeah.
Right. But I am.
And Hollywood's over.
Hollywood is
we're like I was saying before, we're a couple of years out, but it could be sooner than that, where you just sit down on your TV and there's going to be an app called it's going to be called like Hollywood Star or something, and you're going to say, render me a movie about Spider-Man, but he wants to be a stand-up comedian, and so he hangs out with Danny Polishchuk, and then he succeeds, and it will be like rendering, and then it'll take like 15-20 minutes, and then it'll play. And you will literally watch a full movie with Spider-Man.
The amount of entertainment I've gotten out of Suno, just sitting down and making songs for 3 hours and listening to the songs, is like, dude, I just went to a concert.
If you just, you hit that generate button enough times, it's going to crank out a hit at some point.
Dude, it's going to be insane, the kind of things that are created in the next year or two.
Well, you're a musician. What do you think?
How long until they're...
No, about the Suno thing. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you haven't seen it at all? You haven't seen this?
Well, we'll mess around with this stuff in the members show. But I'm imagining
coming for your job, dude.
You're going to see videos of someone's going to say, give me an episode of Friends where Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin shows up and blows up the friend's apartment, but then Phoebe ends up falling for him and they get married.
Yeah.
And then could you imagine watching that? You could just, whatever you imagine.
You throw on a VR and you're
the problem is it's not going to the little intricacies and the dialogue.
No, it'll get it.
I don't know.
There's an AI.
Already,
I think the storytellers will still be needed.
I'm going to play a song for you.
There's an AI mod for Skyrim where you can talk to the NPCs and they respond.
The thing about at least as far as my job goes, artists and stuff, the personality is what matters nowadays. They can AI songs and stuff, but the
comedy.
Okay,
I'm actually not worried about comedy.
I've got two songs. They're clips, and these are Donald Trump tweets that we made earlier in the year. Check this out.
Who'll explain for me to my wonderful son, Baron, who is a great student at a fantastic school, that his dad will likely not be allowed to attend his graduation ceremony, something that we have been talking about for years. Because a seriously conflicted and corrupt New York State judge wants me in parental court on a bogus. But in case which, according to virtually all legal scholars and pundits, has no merit and should never have been brought, this fake case is solely meant to credit preventing me from proudly attending my son's graduation. Seems very unfair, doesn't it? But all of that is unfair. Every one of the many fake cases that are perpetuated by the White House in order to help the worst president in history by far get reelected are UN just scams. We won't let that happen, but we will make America great again.
Okay, so that where it's at. Now
that took you how long to make?
30 seconds. Now listen to this one. I love this one. Another Trump tweet.
This conflicted Trump page judge won't let me respond. people that are on TV lying and spewing hate all day long.
This is so good.
He is running roughshod over my lawyers.
John Lee Hooker.
The New York system of justice is being decimated by critics from all over the world. I want to speak, or at least be able to respond. Election interference, election interference, election interference. Or at least be able to respond. Election interference, election in constitutional trial.
Music, the instrumentation is like almost indescribable.
Yo, that took me 30 seconds, and that was earlier in the year.
Is that Suno?
Yeah, it's probably
That
it
was
has
Suno.
2 new versions or 5 new
It's at
versions.
3.5 right now. It was at 3 about a year, half a
So,
year ago, something like that.
That rock opera song about Barron going to high school or missing the graduation ceremony was so good. I told Carter, I was like, we should actually flesh that out and make a cartoon of like Trump singing this because that's how good the song was. Think about where we're going to be in a year. So 2 years ago, I used AI to make a picture of Nancy Pelosi, and it looked like a grotesque monster. It was crappy.
So
and
it looked
then
exactly like her?
Now you can make a picture of her, and it looks like a right.
Dude, it's
but nowadays you could just be like, give me a picture of Nancy Pelosi doing a kickflip, and you'll get it.
Everybody
Now
remembers
you can make a video saying, make a video of Nancy Pelosi riding a bike, and it will make it.
Remember a year ago the video of the spaghetti? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it was, he's eating his hand turned into spaghetti and stuff. Now the detail and the resolution that it comes up with is mind blowing. In a year, there's not going to be any difference between like your 4K actual videos and things that
I mean, they need some.
they're
They
AI.
definitely need some sort of instant, like detection, some sort of software.
How when it's all just developing? When it's all just
here's the thing.
pixels?
When I post on YouTube, when I post on YouTube, I actually mark it as altered content just so I don't get in trouble. Because they'll like they did even the Exploding Goats one. I got a strike from Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers copyright striked me and claimed the video as their own because their bot that crawls YouTube for their content couldn't tell the difference between mine and theirs. I got it back because I was like, it's after like 10 days, but it was mine. But Twitter, after I want to say 4 million views on the video, put up an altered content. And even with the altered content notification underneath, people were like, is this real? So there's some people who are like hopeless for this stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I understand there's some people that are hopeless, but like everyone's going to be hopeless.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be indistinguishable. And the thing that I can't get beyond is like, what is it that AI is going to look for to identify AI versus real? Because at the end of the day, it's just pixels, and the pixels
I think
are
the
just
audio might have some markers.
Maybe.
Because the audio sometimes, like when I export the audio, it does sound like a little, like if you really crank it, it sounds a little robotic.
In a year?
But eventually, yeah, I know. And then you can have Donald Trump telling all his constituents, "Hey, go do something crazy." And all it takes is one person to
And they're going to claim it's real. So here's what I've been warning about AI is it's not fake videos. So take Donald Trump when he said very fine people on both sides, but I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis or the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. The fear is that what happens is that video comes out. The media, what did they immediately do? They said Trump called Nazis very fine people. But for someone like Brandon Strzok or whatever, and he's a former Democrat, he ends up finding the videos where he's like, wait a minute, there was more that transcript, and now Snopes eventually debunks it. A video, let's say that video came out, but AI existed. Someone would take it, immediately re-render it, so that Trump says, they were very fine people on both sides, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and white supremacists because some of them should be condemned totally. They changed they to some of them. You can make a very minor change.
You could do that in literally 4 minutes.
seconds. And then what happens is every Democrat would share the some of them, and every Republican would share the they. And then Republicans would be like, he said condemn them. And the Democrats would go, some of them? He was saying some were good. And you're like, he didn't say that. He said they should be condemned. No, he didn't. Here's the video. And then it doesn't matter what's true because they've seen a video they assert is true, and it looks like CNN. And there's no way to tell the difference. you'd have to go to the source like CNN. But if it's a grainy cell phone video of capturing an event, then no one knows which one's the original.
Yeah. Or what if the AI software that flags AI starts flagging real stuff as AI?
And it already does.
Yeah. They
So
go, this is altered.
We're
No,
going
it's
to go.
not.
We're going to go to Super Chats. So if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know. Become a member by going to timcast.com and clicking Join Us to support our work. And you'll get access to the amazing Discord server. It's, for those that aren't familiar, it's a chat room. You can hang out with like-minded individuals. So if you're looking for community and people to talk to about all of these ideas, become a Timcast member. And we're going to have that members-only show coming up tonight, 10 p.m., but also tomorrow at 11 a.m., we have the members-only exclusive behind the scenes of Josh Sider's social experiment where he said he was trans, but he was not. And so, well, that'll be fun. All right, Kyle says, topics I hope Joe and Trump talk about. Epstein, aliens, assassinations, ending war, and criminal aliens. Kamala could never survive on JRE. Interesting. Jungle Run says, on a hike with my 6 kids. Welcome to the club, Tim. Thank you very much, good sir. I appreciate it. The Emperor's Champion says, hey, New York Times, I already voted for Trump today. I can't vote for him more. I'd love to see an end of income taxes. Who would not? I don't know that anybody, if you go to a party and everyone's like, you hear this, Trump wants to end income taxes. Who's opposed to that? If you raise your hand, they're going to be like, we can't be friends. That we all have our limits. Mike Oxard says, Donald John America must win, and by a lot. Go out and vote, even if they try to do election F word again. Aha. And there you go. All right. Michael Bowers says, my wife is officially a U.S. citizen as of today. Unfortunately, she missed voter sign up, so she can't vote for Trump like she wanted.
Drag.
Oh,
Congratulations
that's
on being a U.S. citizen now.
Let's see. What is this? Turbo Bastard says, someone I know just got a $3,000 check after working 34 hours of overtime during the 2 weeks and lost over $1,000 to taxes. Well, you vote Donald Trump. He says no taxes on overtime, huh? Sounds like a pretty good deal. All right. Ultimate Gaming says, please shout this out. I'm trying so hard to find a job, but I can't. My wife, my 6-month-old daughter, and I are going to be evicted next month. Sorry to hear it, brother. I hope you find some work. Maybe you can make AI videos for Danny. I don't know.
My YouTube channel is fully demonetized, so.
All right, what? Really? Why?
Because I posted some clip from I do this podcast live call-in show called The Bathhouse every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. And I posted one short, even though the whole video was on my channel, the whole episode. And then I posted one short from the thing the day the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, died. And we weren't even we were just joking and not saying anything pro-Unabomber, nothing. And then they just flagged it and they gave me a strike, demonetized my channel. And then they said it was demonetized for glorifying terrorists or whatever. And then that strike, you can never be remonetized, even though it was my first strike ever.
What? Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
Demonetized for life.
Jeez.
So anyways, not hiring AI guys.
Well, that's it.
Do it for the love of the game.
Faust says, Danny P, boys. Is that what you do on the show with Ryan? You say boys the whole time?
Yeah, boys. Boyscast. No girls
That's all
allowed.
you do?
No girls
No
allowed.
girls
Just
allowed.
like this. I love this. All boys.
No girls allowed.
Girls allowed.
What is this? Jason Hutchinson says obligatory libertarian sound off. Taxation is theft.
Taxation.
Well, you got to vote for. North Libertarian says Trump must have heard Dave Smith may vote for him. Dave Smith is voting for him, and we did want to get to that, but we didn't end up getting to it. Dave Smith said he's voting Trump. Yeah, he posted a video that says, Dave Smith, I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Did he say why?
Yeah, well, he said he saw Kamala Harris campaigning with Liz Cheney, and he went, you deserve to lose. Like, there's a lot of reasons you deserve to lose, but just seeing that, I was disgusted.
Yeah. And the libertarians hate their candidate.
He's a gay communist.
Yeah, the libertarians are not pumped with Chase Oliver.
Not at all.
Well, they chose him.
Yeah, they colluded, apparently. Two of the three challenging parties got behind the scenes, and they're like, let's make sure Clint Russell doesn't get it. We'll choose Chase.
Well, he wasn't even. I moderated the Colorado State Libertarian convention, and Clint wasn't even one of the.
Yeah, he wasn't running for president.
They were all it was insane. The whole thing was nuts.
Is Clint's in Miami?
Yeah, he wasn't even. He was never even running.
But he was VP. No,
He
Clint
was
was running for VP.
Oh, he was running for VP, I guess. Yeah, but he wasn't.
And then Mike Termott went to Chase Oliver and said, I'll support you if I'm your VP. I'll tell everyone of my voters support you, and then we win. And then otherwise it was going to be Rechtenwald and Clint Russell.
Yeah.
But, it's I'm convinced. My conspiracy theory is that Angela McArdle has organized everything behind the scenes in a large chair with a velvet back and a cat in her lap, stroking it.
One of those psychic things on her head where she's controlling impulses.
Sending,
Like a
and then
Protoss.
she's like sending out letters of instruction to her minions, and it's like, we're going to nominate as the Libertarian Party Chase Oliver.
Yeah.
So the Mises Caucus votes Donald Trump and Trump wins, and then puts a Libertarian in his cabinet.
And there will be.
I mean, the only funny thing from the moderating their state thing is Mike Tremont actually said, he's like, we're currently polling at 0.
Nobody wants that.
he's like, we're polling at 0. So let's say some crazy stuff.
They're the
Why not?
worst candidates
Trump.
the Libertarian Party has ever put up.
It's true. Trump said he's going to put a Libertarian in his cabinet, and I doubt it would be Dave Smith, but that would be great. Clint would also be great.
Yeah, I hope so. They
But
put
maybe-
Dave Smith in, and they go, "What's this Legion of Skanks podcast? What do they do on there?" Shout out to the Skanks, I love them.
Tower Gang as well. I'd like to see Tower
All right.
Gang represented in the federal government.
Pittsburgh says, who is Danny Polishchuk? I thought today's guest is named Serge Hajmi.
I made this video where I took a little shot at Serge.
Oh, why would you do that? He's a very nice guy.
No, I love Serge. It was just I made this video of the Hamas thanks the.
I hear he's
women
gay.
That's what he says. Yeah. So, shout out.
I think his
to-
wife
I
says
love
that
Serge.
Why is everybody laughing?
I love
He
Serge.
all he does is retweet posts about how gay he is. I'm not joking. He does.
Well, as far as I know, he has a lovely beard at home and a new child. So.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we at? We'll grab a super chat here. Oh, what's this? Jacob Stein says, Tim, currently in the hospital welcoming our firstborn child. Please shout out Jasper Wade Stein. Also praying for a smooth pregnancy for Allison and your future child. Many blessings. Thank you
man,
very
congrats,
much.
dude.
Jasper.
I appreciate it, yeah.
Should brought some cigars.
Well, I'm not going to smoke them.
You have to.
Yeah, I can't do it.
That's what you do for.
No way. We're
your
health
child.
conscious over here, you know? Insurance won't let us. Is that a better excuse?
Okay.
He seems so deflated when you say health conscious.
Well, I didn't bring him.
Like,
So.
Oh, I totally would have, you know? Oh, jeez. Oh, no. All right. Strawberry mochi. Very delicious, by the way. The Amish are voting for Trump.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Are they really?
I don't know, but it would make sense.
I saw tons of Amish on the train today.
On the train?
Yeah, the train over here from New York. Tons of Amish on the trains.
Well, there's like a bunch of Amish that
Yeah,
live
yeah.
near here.
Yeah, I guess they're
And
coming here.
They sell pet milk.
I don't know what language they were speaking.
Was it Amishian?
Maybe it was not English. That's for sure. It was not any language I had ever heard.
Amishese,
Really?
we call it. You know,
Yeah.
Amishese. That does it.
And one guy had an amazing beard.
Maybe they were just
That whole,
speaking
like-
Dutch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I
no.
guess it's some sort of Dutch something.
It's actually
Dutch Amish?
Did they say?
German.
Did they say
German?
anything like Hagenflagen?
I
know it'd be
overheard
Swedish.
it and I go that it's some variation of
Oh,
something.
wait, is
but
Hagenflagen German or Swedish?
Swedish, I think.
Swedish?
No, it's more Swedish.
Yeah, it's Swedish gibberish.
Swedish gibberish. Yeah, it's like there's the chef on
They call it Dutch.
What do you actually say? that?
Muppets.
Hagenflagen.
Ergen Flurgen.
Swedish gibberish. All right, what is this? Paul Graham says it's not fair to call Kamala a potato. At least a potato provides value and is useful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, you can make
Okay,
alcohol
so-
out of potatoes.
That's true. You can. War Machine says they've called Trump Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini. I bet they call him Sauron before this is over. Mark me. They called him Voldemort too.
Yeah.
Sauron. Yeah, but they're not savvy on the Lord of the Rings. They get Harry Potter because it's like, you know, children's Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seamus had a really funny idea. I don't know if I'm going to ruin his joke by saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It was a bit where it's Harry Potter becomes a right-wing grifter. So he renounces witchcraft and becomes Christian, and then goes on all these talk shows where he's talking about how witchcraft is real and it's bad, and he's no longer doing witchcraft.
That's pretty good.
He becomes a right-wing. All right, what do we got? We'll grab some more of these super chats, they could call them. Sane says, Insane Clown Posse endorsed Kamala. Oh, really?
Nasty.
Good
That's a letdown, man. You know that one song they had in the 90s?
Yeah, I remember they had one song that
Yeah, I just saw they opened. They were the surprise guests at Skankfest this year, and they opened up Skankfest on.
Did they really?
Yeah,
Oh.
like a little private concert. It's pretty.
I thought they were based.
I thought they were too. That was surprising. They might be doing like Costanza. They're doing the opposite.
What if like they endorse Kamala and then get invited to do an event for it, but then come out and be like, yo, we were kidding, dude. Trump.
Oh, no, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great. All right. Ryan Sargent says, want to talk about scrubbed from the internet? Try Googling DOD 5240.01, Section 3, Subsection 3, Article C. Joe Biden and Kamala made the law for the president to be able to use military and citizen. We did talk about it the other day.
about that last night.
It's been popping up all week. Yep. Mr. Nice Bobby says, cheers from Brazil, where voting is mandatory. Who would win, in your opinion, if voting was mandatory in the U.S.? Kamala Harris. No question.
Yeah.
Because you'd get a bunch of people who are like, I don't know. The guy on TV said Kamala.
Yeah.
Beep.
I like my abortions.
That's not even that. Most people, if compelled to vote, would just be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bah. Beep. They'd be like, bah. Although, I don't know. Trump is a celebrity. They might be like, yeah, Trump.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, it is crazy that it's just like basically half the country goes one way, half the country goes the other. There's not much daylight.
It's too crazy for me. I don't trust that. I don't think it's
We
real.
need a landslide. We need, and I don't mean like an electoral college. I mean, we need a sweep. We need Trump to win the popular vote, the electoral college, the House, the Senate, etc. So that way we can totally rebuke wokeism.
Yep.
That's what we need.
I mean, that's what it will be if that's what happens. Yeah.
Because the message
went
needs to
too
be
far.
sent to these people that not only do you lose money, but your ideas are not popular with the American people, and you're on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Squanchy says, I love watching your shows. Big fan of the morning show, but Monday and Thursday and Sundays are for football. Sorry, brother. Well, football. There was a really funny thing I was watching on Fox and Friends where Lawrence, their morning host, goes to a barber shop, and he's asking this black dude, he's asking a bunch of black dudes at barbershops about who they're voting for and why. And he asked one, he's like, what do you think is the most important issue? And the guy goes, sports. He's like, I'm kidding, but he's not. Most people don't care, and they're probably talking about sports.
Oh yeah, if you could vote at like a football game.
That'd be weird.
I used to watch so much sports, so much football. Did you ever go through a phase like that? Are you in a phase like that?
I don't watch I watch.
They watch soccer in Canada.
Hockey. Go Leafs! I almost wore my Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, but then I went from my
soccer.
For my American jersey.
We play hockey here. We're really good at it, and Canada just tries.
Americans actually are really good at it. I think the Olympics, the next Olympics, the NHL players haven't been allowed to play for a while because of contract stuff. So it's been all non-pros, but the pros are coming. I think the Americans are going to win.
Really? You think is Canada going to get angry?
They're not going to like it, but the Maple Leafs' best player, Austin Matthews, is American.
Is hockey the Canadian sport because you guys basically live in blocks of ice?
Yes.
We
have sheets, but there is just
Are you
everywhere.
excited for global warming because Canada's going to be?
I live in New York. Yeah, I'll take. I mean, I don't live in Canada, but
did you flee Canada because it was too cold?
No, just the entertainment industry sucks.
Oh.
No.
I heard that 90% of Canadians live within
it's like
50 miles.
Yeah, something like that.
We're going to say kilometers?
I think it's kilometers.
Of the U.S.?
Might be miles.
50 miles of the U.S.?
Of the U.S. border,
Did you see that?
Oh, really?
Did you see that SNL skit about?
Yeah, Nate Bargatze.
Is that who that was when he's talking about the measuring system?
I mean, the metric system rules.
Dude, that was so good.
Honestly, I know this is unpopular. I've lost the U's in all the words I write. I don't write flavor with a U, not a color.
What about metric time? Do you use that?
I don't.
80 past 70.
Metric time, no, but man, I like a good kilometer. Let me tell you.
That's a Simpsons joke. I'm just stealing it.
Oh,
I have no jokes. It's just Family Guy or Simpsons. Anybody who knows these things is like, yep, Tim watched TV in the 90s.
Me too, man.
That's also another Family Guy joke, by the way.
Oh.
All right, Layers. Let's see, what is this? Polly Puree says, the best way to vote was voting machines not connected to the internet. Least amount of fraud. Disagree. There was a guy who did a thing where he popped out a drive or whatever and flipped it. Like, I forgot what it was. He put something in. He put a USB. It wasn't a USB or a memory card, or he popped it open and he put data in it, and then it flipped the votes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure they can be compromised. Anything that has a motherboard, there's a way to.
Paper ballots with poll watchers at each location, and when they're counted, you have every single person watching and all agreeing the votes being counted. That's it.
Yeah. Seems reasonable.
Decentralized. Let's grab some more super chats. What have we here? Let's see. John, I can't pronounce. I'm not going to read your last name. It's too long. Sorry. Humans will always find a way to F something up. November 5th, I thought Election Day was Christmas Eve. When did they change it? Was it ever Christmas Eve?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, the Constitution says it's like the first Tuesday of November or something, doesn't it? You want to look it up?
I'm not sure.
It's something like that.
I mean, as far as I know, I don't know if it's in the Constitution. I just always thought
absolutely
it was just the first Tuesday of November.
The Constitution says there will be a single day for the election to be held on I think it's the first Tuesday of November or whatever. Is that what it is?
It must be, because it's the first Tuesday of November. It'd
Well,
be crazy
I don't know.
if it says something different.
But it might
scandal.
be. And it's not the 5th because the date changes.
Right. Yeah, it can't be that.
It had. Oh, well, I'm looking here.
Am I going to find it faster than you?
Maybe.
Maybe I'll find it the fastest.
Officials statutory set by the U.S. government as the Tuesday next after the first Monday in November.
Ah.
Oh.
So,
Okay, so not the second Tuesday necessarily.
And is this was an amendment that did this, or this was the original?
I'm not sure. It doesn't
Tuesday
specify.
after the
That's
first
just in
Monday.
Wikipedia.
Tuesday after the first Monday.
So did they come up with that?
So I guess it could be
Because of
as late as the 8th.
Because if the month starts on Tuesday, it will not be that day.
Yeah.
It will then wait a week until the next Tuesday.
Because everybody's got to pay rent that day. Nobody wants to go vote.
And also the reason they set it up like that is because like you have to have time to do the harvest and then go and vote.
Right.
So because it was done when
they were
we in
farmers.
Mary Nation.
Okay.
That's crazy, huh? All right. What do we hear? Farouk says, serialize the ballots, put serial numbers on them. Per state, if they can serialize our money, then do the same to ballots. Don't they? They don't do that?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
But even still, if they're serialized, like they're not tied to a person.
GG Will says, my mail-in vote in San Diego came with a code so I can check my vote count on the website. I just say no mail-in voting. You have to vote in person. Ballots are blank. That's it.
And you know, one problem with being able to verify on a website is that it might say one thing on the website, but be counted as something different. So you really need a verification through somehow if you're going to do that.
All right, let's see what we got. Where are we at with some super chats? Okay. Katoth, is that how you pronounce it? I find it amusing we could call elections on the day in the 80s, and now 40 plus years later, it's somehow impossible to call the election on the day of.
Oh, that is so ridiculous. He's right. That is so.
I mean, a
not
country
real.
like Brazil, they have what, 200 million people? They do it.
No, I think it's like 60.
Brazil's 60?
Yeah, I don't think Brazil is 200 million.
Oh, Brazil is huge.
It is huge. I don't think they have that many people.
I thought it was up there.
60? What is it?
I use AI now. It's awesome.
It was like 190 or something.
211 million.
Whoa, really?
And I'm pretty sure they call it
almost
I'm pretty
300, almost 212.
There you go. And I'm pretty sure they call it day of.
I'm not gonna
more
stand,
votes.
I'm not going to stand corrected, actually. I'm just going to say that both of your fact checks are wrong. AI is wrong and Danny is wrong, and I'm just going to choose to be right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
60 million, that's it.
60 million.
That's it. It's proof.
You hear that, Brazil? I'm pretty sure Rio's like 60 million.
All right, Rodeo Hamster says, Phil, I saw All That Remains open for Megadeth in Cincinnati. You
Sick.
guys went so effing hard. I loved it.
Thank
I
you.
bought your shirt there, too.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You came back with beast energy.
Well, I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, I love it, dude.
Thank you.
All right, Code Monkey says, Ian, you're killing me with the free the code BS. You can have all of the cleanest and fairest code you want. All I need is root level cron job script with access to the results, DB, and I can obfuscate TF out of the script. Ask me how I know. He's implying that he's done it.
Are you implying that you've done that?
Yes.
There's no perfect answer, that's for sure, but it's more secure than paper ballots. What's your plan?
You're just like you say, it's more secure than paper ballots. So what's your plan? Well, the plan was paper ballots.
Well, it's less secure. I want more secure.
I don't know that you can.
Democrats want less secure.
And I don't know that you can actually get more secure if it's computerized.
He's just
blockchain. Blockchain is.
Oh, this is important. Mark Prior says, "Hi guys, I'm Amish." He says, "Hi guys, the Amish speak an older version of German. The word for German in German is Deutsch. Misheard by English settlers sounds like Dutch, hence Pennsylvania Dutch."
Gotcha.
Right. I was trying to tell you guys.
I thought he was saying he's Amish. I'm like, you can't be on YouTube right now.
They can.
Can they?
Bro, you've never gone to Amish country?
I have when I was I went to
there's
Pennsylvania Amish country when I was like 12.
Yeah, you go to the supermarkets.
No, they were all we shot like the
There's
show.
lights
We
and
saw like the show Amish where they didn't have any of the stuff.
There's Amish people down the road, and they're in a building with refrigerators, and
So what kind of
they're on their
Amish are they?
phones, and I don't know. People just make assumptions about what Amish people do.
I thought that was their whole deal.
Do they drive cars too?
Yeah, I don't know how they would. How do they get deliveries?
Well, in the Amish, like in the Pennsylvania, they all have the horse and mule.
Oh no, they definitely do, because when we would go to the farm stand, they drive up to drop off the meats and stuff.
Oh,
So are they like Jewish?
I don't know.
I was gonna say they're Amish like I'm Jewish.
Okay.
No, they're Amish, and they wear little bonnets and stuff like that.
Oh.
I think it's just the TV that convinces people that Amish people don't use technology or whatever.
I thought they're not allowed to.
Yeah, see, exactly. It's probably just a movie or something.
I'm gonna look it up.
No, I definitely went to Amish country in Pennsylvania, like when I was 12, and they were doing none of it.
But maybe that's just the tourism show thing.
Yeah,
It's like
maybe.
we make money.
Maybe.
Because there's like in Maryland, there's like a big Amish shopping center,
Oh.
And it's like all
Because they make good
all the
furniture.
kids are in uniform.
Apparently, there's old order Amish, and they generally reject public grid electricity. But then there's new order Amish that are more.
Yeah, there's a bunch of kids. They're wearing like little Amish outfits with bonnets and
Yeah,
stuff.
they were all wearing the bonnets.
And the little boys are wearing little button-ups and suits or like pants or whatever.
I saw them.
But you walk in and there's computers and there's cars and you buy food and they farm and stuff.
But they say that even the old order Amish generally will have alternate power sources. They're just not tied to the grid, like generators, propane, solar panels, wind power.
And they're probably just like a lot happier all the time.
Wow, they're just off grid. That's cool.
I bet their lives are.
You know what? I actually was thinking that in the train station today when I was waiting for the train. I saw all the Amish and everybody was on their phones and they were all just talking to each other.
Were they?
Yeah, and I go, this is
You know,
probably better.
I can give you one reason why I guarantee they're happier than other people on average, and it's because they have chickens.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
There's that meme I told you about where guys like my neighbors got chickens, and then they woke me up in the morning and they were doing weird little chicken things and making chicken noises, and I just started laughing, and now I feel good, and my days are better because I wake up. Thank you, chickens. It's like, bro, you can't be depressed while you're looking at chickens.
Yeah.
You're lying to yourself when you do. You're
Only
like,
that they're in cages. I get sad.
but you can let them out and they can walk around.
Yeah,
you just got to make sure you keep the bad ones away, like the coyotes and stuff. But like if you're sad, down, or feeling depressed or whatever, and you look at chickens, like you're gonna laugh. They're
Chase
such
after
dumb
them, and they
little-
don't run that fast.
I think we should turn that into a song on the after show.
Let's do it.
have a
Chickens,
song.
chickens will
City,
make
we
you
should probably
laugh.
pump that
Chickens
one
will make
out.
you laugh.
I wrote a Chicken City song.
Yeah, we
I
should
got
pump it
already.
out. That was a good one.
Yeah. And then we'll make a music video of Danny singing it.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Zandrux says, give the Dems some credit. They need the need for abortions is likely to increase with the number of unverified individuals allowed into the country. Yikes. Jeez. A little dark, huh? All right. What do we got here? People wanting me to do Timcast IRL from the delivery room. That's not going to happen.
That's real dedication.
All right. Heisenberg says, hi, Danny. Please check your DM. I'm concerned for Ryan's health.
Okay. All right.
All right. Trucker Wall says, Phil, what should the military, truckers, traveling nurses, doctors, emergency response personnel, pilots, train conductors, etc., do without absentee ballots? Millions would be disenfranchised.
That's why I said that it should be a holiday.
Holidays are good. I think Election Day should be a holiday. And that being said, smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member by going to timcast.com and clicking join us, because we're going to go to the members only show where we're going to make naughty AI songs, naughty ones. So, don't bring your kids. It's not so family friendly, but it'll be fun and funny. And as a member, you get access to the Discord server where you can join a community of people who are like-minded, but probably, you just argue. But if you're looking for people to hang out with, meet and communicate with, and you're concerned about politics or whatever, here's a good group of people. They make shows. There's pre-shows. There's after shows. There's special programs. People are working together. They're building stuff. That's what it's all about. So become a member at timcast.com. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Danny, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, just go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Danny P, like the letter comedy. And I'll be in Albany and Hartford December 4th and 5th, DannyComedy.com for tickets.
Give me an Ian Cross on the Discord is legit. It's a lot of really cool people from different venues and walks of life. So that's a really high value opportunity to get involved with a lot of cool people. And if through timcast.com, go for it. It's really cool. A lot of good people. Gamers too. Hot gamers. We're looking at starting up a 7 Days to Die server. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, guys. I can't take power gaming. We'll figure it out. Thanks for the message. I think it was T-Bone. Did you hit me up? All right. Talk me out, Philly.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. I am Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Pandora. You can check out our 3 new videos for No Tomorrow, Divine, and Let You Go, all on YouTube. And don't forget, The Left Lane is for Crime.
We will see you all over at timcast.com. But if you're listening on the audio podcast, give us a good review. It really will help. Otherwise, we'll just see you at timcast.com in about 1 minute.